That's on purpose. What is up, everybody? This is Fat Dude of Fat Dude Digs Flicks coming to you live from Average Joe's Gaming here in T, South Dakota for the Backlot 605 Top 20 Christmas Countdown. I will be hosting this evening's festivities, but I am not the feature of the evening. No. That is our wonderful, illustrious panel of drafters. Let's take a look at them now, and we'll introduce them one by one. I am so excited to be here for this, and I am so excited that these folks get the pressure of choosing the top 20 Christmas movies of all time. So we're going to start on the very, very end from the Local Lou podcast. Local Lou herself. Lou, how are you?
Hi, guys. Oh, my gosh, it's so exciting. I'm a little scared because Sam has already taken off his glasses and rolled up his pants. But that's okay. It's going to be a really great night. I'm excited to talk about Christmas movies.
Yeah. Lou, are you a big fan of Christmas movies? Or is it something that you're kind of just like, yeah, Christmas movies are cool?
I mean, I made a dress for tonight. It's unrelated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of, just like, I like crafting things.
I like crafting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love Christmas movies.
Awesome. Well, I am super glad that you are here on the panel. I think I know kind of where our next two panelists are going to go, but you and someone else in this panel are kind of my wild card, so I'm excited to see what happens. That leads me to the first of the Backlot 605 entrants tonight, Mr. Sam Lenz. Sam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Andy. I'm really hot to be here right now.
I think we've got an over-under on how long it's going to take you to ditch the bunny costume.
The issue is I can only ditch it from the waist up because I don't have pants on underneath of it. So
we've got an Anchorman situation going on here.
I didn't realize that until now.
Well, they're boxers.
Now I have to look.
The good news is that you don't have to stand up and show yourself to the people watching this countdown. So, Sam, I'll kind of ask you the same question here. I know that you are a horror movie buff and a movie buff in general, but where do Christmas movies kind of fall on your appreciation of cinema?
I really like Christmas movies. They're warm, they're comforting, and as per usual, I like my Christmas movies a little on the spooky side. So, yeah.
I think it's going to be fun to see what you throw in here. I like I said, I think you and our next panelist are kind of the ones that I'm like, I think I kind of know where they're going, but we'll see what happens. That is our third panelist here, one of the founders of Backlot 605, Casey Kelderman. Casey, how are you, buddy?
I am having a holly jolly night already, Andy.
Now he's wearing a sweatshirt. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
I like it.
Because it is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie. Shout out to my former co-workers who voted against Die Hard in their Christmas bracket. I was told that today. That was a terrible mistake. If any of you are watching, I don't know why you would choose Christmas with the Cranks over Die Hard.
What?
Yeah. There's a riot in T right now because of you. Casey, with your thoughts on Christmas movies, I know you're kind of the same with Sam. You like stuff on the spooky side, but you like very traditional things as well. What are your thoughts towards Christmas movies?
I love Christmas movies. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
But that's why I guess Sam is going to have that decision for us. But besides that, I love Christmas movies. I think they're some of my favorite movies of all time. Just happen to be Christmas movies.
Yeah, it's fun how the movies that we watch during Christmas really help to get us all in the spirit and the joy of everything. So, which leads to our final panelist. I don't like to play favorites, but
Then don't, Andy.
for tonight, my heart is warm tonight. One of my dear friends from back in the USD days, one of the head honchos of the Premier Playhouse, Mr. Jesse Jensen. Jesse, how you doing, buddy?
Thank you. Yeah, I know No, I'm not a big fan of Christmas because I'm really busy during the Christmas season. We do big Christmas musical shows. Excuse me, keeps us pretty busy, so I don't spend a lot of time doing that Christmas cheer. But I'm just messing with you. No, but we are doing a Christmas Carol opening tonight.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big old annual family tradition. It'll be every year, so we're excited about that. But mostly, I think I'm on this panel to be the resident dad. I like to dress sensibly. I like to attract tax advice. So I didn't have a Christmas shirt, like I said.
Yeah.
I've lost the Christmas cheer. I had this wine-colored shirt was the closest thing I'd read, and I took this from the costume shop.
Yeah.
So,
It's really festive. I like
so
it.
thank you.
I think that a lot of people really find the importance of wine during the holidays. So I think you're right on brand.
Well, Christmas. What I like about Christmas movies is it helps me get through it.
Yeah. Right. So, Jesse, I'll want you to plug this, of course, later. But are there still tickets available for Christmas Carol at the Premier Playhouse?
But it is limited.
Yeah.
The sales have been great. So if you're going to get tickets, you might want to get on it right now. PremierPlayhouse.com, or you can call, or you can go to the Washington Pavilion. Does all the ticketing for the Orpheum Theater downtown. So if you don't know where the Orpheum is, it's not the Pavilion where the Somerville Theater is, but it's at the Orpheum downtown on 6th and Phillips. PremierPlayhouse.com, or you can go to the Washington Pavilion website and order.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what better place to watch a ghostly story than at the Haunted Orpheum Theater?
Yeah, absolutely. It's true. If you don't know the story,
Casey and I ran into a ghost.
his name's Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
Larry. I like that his name's just like Larry, not like Old Man McEnroe or something like that. It's just Larry.
Watch out. Here comes Larry.
Here's Ghost Larry.
It's the most Midwest ghost name I've ever heard.
Well, he was a pretty Midwest ghost because all he did was like breathe on my neck and kick my seat. So
I don't know if that's necessarily a Midwest thing or just a Sam thing. So I guess could be different for other people. This is our panel of contestants for tonight's draft style of the top 20 Christmas countdown. So let's talk about the rules of this thing, shall we? Before the draft started, our contestants have selected their draft order. Sam Lenz gets A. So he will have the last pick and the number 1 pick, as well as some other ones in there as well. I believe Jesse Jensen has picked B. You are the second in command. He will have 19, 15, 9, and number 4. Oh, and 5 and 4. So he gets 2 picks in the top 5. Lou is C. She will get 18, 16, 13, 7, and 3. And then wrapping things up, Casey Kelderman got D, which is 17, 12, 11, 8, and number 2. So what we will be doing is they will be drafting in that order. They will be selecting a movie of their choice that fits the Christmas criteria, whatever that may be. And then if the movie stands, it will make the list. The contestants also have in their possession a veto, where they can decide that the movie selected should not make the list. However, the catch about the veto is the movie is not eliminated. It is still up to be played. So while somebody picks something at number 19 and it's vetoed, they can continue to play it somewhere else if they really want that movie to make the list. So be on the lookout for that. Every player gets a veto. Are there any other rules that I'm missing, or is that it?
be per franchise too, right? Or are we not doing that this time?
As many Home Alone movies as you want to play, Sam, you can play tonight.
So the list will consist of Santa Claus 1, Santa Claus 2, Santa Claus 3, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, Home Sweet Home Alone, please God, no.
Where'd the Hallmark movies in there?
We got.
Oh
the
God!
Hallmark.
If you all play Hallmark
know.
movies, I'm gonna be
That's
lost.
all channel I have.
So
That's unfortunate.
I believe on that note, let the Christmas chaos begin. So we will start. We will start with Sam Lenz with pick number 20.
I've agonized over this. I don't know if it's the right thing to start this off, but I want this movie on the list. So
All right. At number 20, sticking true to his genre taste buds, Sam Lenz has selected Krampus.
okay. So I'm glad that's the response in this room because I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that's more what I was expecting. I love Krampus. Krampus is a wonderful holiday tale about a young boy who is fed up with the holiday. His family is very dysfunctional. He's got relatives coming over. We can all relate to the stress of that. And well, maybe you guys can't. I can. But yeah. He essentially gets fed up. He tears up his letter to Santa. He throws it out. He's like, blah, blah, blah. I don't like these people. It's like the setup to Home Alone, except for what follows is a better movie. Yeah, so Krampus comes and starts picking off the family one by one. And it's spooky. It's funny. It's got little demonic gingerbread cookies. And I think most of what I like about Krampus is that it actually feels like a Christmas movie. It's not just a horror movie. Like I get a very warm, fuzzy feeling when I watch Krampus, and it's very much one of those that I revisit multiple times over the month of December, just because it's kind of a go-to comfort movie during that time. So yeah, that's Krampus. I love it.
Hey, I'll go ahead and ask. Anyone going to veto Krampus, however it's pronounced, from the list? Krampus stays. Does anyone have anything else to say about this delightful, murderous piece of joy?
Yeah, I actually, so the first time I saw Krampus, I don't know if we're going to come to a conclusion on that tonight on how we say it, but.
It's whatever we want to say. We're Midwestern.
See, well, my favorite thing about it is I just like saying it.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't veto it.
Right. No, my favorite thing about it was when I was watching it for the first and only time last year. Well, I love Toni Collette, so let's just check that off the list. She's in there. Love it.
Her and Adam Scott are incredible.
They are really good. But what I liked is they straight up killed people in that movie. They're not coming back. It's not going to get better. This is not a happy thing. And so, like, the second that happened, I'm like, oh, but, like, she's not, like, dead. Right. She can come back out of the, no. Oh.
It really captures the existential dread of the holiday season.
It does, yeah. No, and so I liked it. That's what I liked about it, was they actually died.
Nothing says Christmas like that.
Blue gets it.
Anyone else? Any other thoughts on Krampus?
Oh, well, I love it because like it'll scare my children.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a theme that you'll see. Mostly, it's about my children being traumatized, and that's what Christmas is all about.
Yeah.
I don't love this movie. I'm glad it's at number 20 because it could be higher knowing Sam's
That's
taste.
okay. I don't love your YouTube review of it.
I did a bad YouTube review when this movie first came out, and I thought I had a clever title for it, calling Krampus.
Oh, that is good.
It's not good.
Yeah,
It's not good. You don't have to be
that's
nice. You don't have to be
No,
nice.
I like that.
Yeah, this movie just didn't click for me. I think it's the weakest of Mike Doherty's movies. I like Trick or Treat a lot more.
You like Godzilla King of Monsters better than Krampus?
It's the best of that Godzilla series, but we're not talking about that today.
No.
But yeah, I just didn't connect with this movie. I think it's a very tonally imbalanced, where it does have the dark stuff, but it also has Adam Scott being with David. What's his name?
David Koechner, is it?
Yeah.
Koechner?
Doing their usual shtick, and it just wasn't working for me in this movie. I do think there is a great scene like halfway through this, kind of when we get our first look at Krampus, and he's on the rooftops.
Jumping
It's like
across
that's the
them.
best scene of this movie. So for that scene alone, number 20, sure, why not?
All right, it stands number 20, Krampus, which leads us to number 19. This would be Jesse Jensen for your first selection.
So I'm going to go. Oh, I hand it to you.
Yes. Yes. There's a proper
There's a process.
method to
I
this.
wouldn't want to ruin this very respectable show.
That's right. That's right. We've got Krampus at number 20. So number 19 on our list, Jesse Jensen has selected the film starring Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks, Polar Express.
Let me tell you what.
You're losing the
Oh
room.
no! What is going on?
Jesse,
Another Polar. I was not expecting. Polar Express fans. What I love about the Polar Express is that the animation was so early that the cold, deadless eyes of all the characters have traumatized my children. And you know, it's festive. It's got train. Like I said, resident dad. My kids, when they were young, loved trains, and they were distracted, so I could drink.
I'm getting to find that Jesse's fatherhood skills. First off, I know
That's
they're
my
great.
perspective. That's where I'm coming from. I'm telling you, I was a stay-at-home dad, so you had whatever strategies got you through it.
Whatever it takes. I'll say something about Polar Express before we kind of pass it along to see if there's a veto on it. I think Polar Express is a delight. Do I love it? No, but I do think it's magical. I think it kind of captures the definitely the spirit that the book is trying to do through the drawings. I think that the drawings of the book, The Polar Express, are fantastic, and I think the film kind of does the best that it can to kind of capture that magic. So I can certainly understand Polar Express being on this list. Does anyone veto Polar Express? All right, Polar Express stands. Anyone have any thoughts on Polar
Sneak that
Express?
one through, baby.
I like Polar Express.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you, Andy. I don't love it,
Yeah.
but I like it.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the book growing up as a kid, and I think the first few times I watched it, I was a little put off because it's a children's picture book. It's very short, and they stretch it out to a length. And over time, I've grown to kind of love its quirks and the different things it does with that premise. And some of the animation is dated, but some of it is absolutely gorgeous. Like all the stuff at the North Pole, I absolutely adore. So yeah, I'm perfectly okay
Including
with.
Steven Tyler Elf.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Steven Tyler.
I like this movie a lot. I think 19's a good spot for it, and I think it deserves to be on this list.
For not having done our one of these panels before, Jesse, I think you kind of get that the bottom five sometimes are kind of where you can be like, yeah, sure, why not?
I was just trying to sneak it in there.
It's a good one.
Polar Express is a yeah, sure, why not movie. Like I just watched it for this, and it's kind of become like we watch it every Christmas. It's just one of those movies in our house. But I like this movie. It's not great. The animation is the weakest aspect. It is just too far behind. If they were to remake this movie, I think we'd be looking at it a lot differently. But I think story-wise, it's a really good story, has really good characters. Tom Hanks is great as all the characters he gets to play. This is his Nutty Professor, so that's cool. I think it's all a lot of fun. Even the awkwardness with some of the kids especially kind of adds to the charm of this movie because the kids are awkward. They're really weird and awkward, and there's some weird lines in this movie. But they're so quotable, too, that I think they work. So
I'm going to need a
think this movie
quote.
works.
What's a quote from one of the kids? What's a weird quote?
Oh, she's putting you on the spot.
No.
I don't have one from one of the kids that I always quote for some reason. It's from one of the conductors.
Okay.
It's whenever like they pull his beard and they stop the train and he just yells, "Caribou." And it's like the weirdest thing ever. And I'm like, why is this in this movie? And why is he saying it like that?
I also like movies that just like, is this a musical or not?
Yeah.
Like, why? How many songs are we getting?
Also, I want to drink hot chocolate every time I watch this movie.
There are maybe like 3 songs in the whole thing, but they're spread out kind of throughout. So
Did I black out? This has songs in it?
It's
Like, what
definitely
kind
a
of
song.
there's a
songs?
whole
Like,
dance number. That's the way things happen on the Polar Express. And they're like doing backflips and they're drinking hot cocoa. It's
That's
wonderful.
2 different songs.
Did I not see
Oh,
this
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
I've seen this movie.
And the
Oh,
little,
yeah, that's
the little
right, that's
girl
right.
and the little
Mhm.
boy get a song. And
Really?
Steven Tyler Elf gets a song, of course.
Of course, because you don't hire Steven Tyler and not let him sing.
Right.
You do hire Steven
I think
Tyler and
that's
not
what
let him
happened.
play
They were like,
harmonica.
we
though.
got Steven Tyler for one song. We got to throw at least 2 more.
Yeah.
Lou, any other thoughts on
Well,
Polar
I'm
Express?
spiraling a little bit here, Andy, because you said this movie's a delight, which is now making me question a lot of things in my life. You have told me to my face some things that are a delight, and I'm just wondering if that like is a delight, like you're breathtaking,
Hold on.
like
I
oh
think-
that
I
baby's
think-
breathtaking. It's like no, it's ugly.
I
Like
think the word delight can be subjective.
yeah,
And what some people might find genuinely delightful, I might find delightful. You know?
so like you're just saying you're not saying this is a good movie, right? Like you're saying like you're not mad that it's on TV and you'll stop and watch it, but you're not gonna like go out of your way to
Oh,
watch it.
And that's where I live, right there.
Okay, yeah.
I-
Okay.
I-
Cool. Just take
that's
the
where
temperature. just
that's my
figure it out.
contribution.
This is a Sunday
Okay.
afternoon Christmas dad movie. is what
Exactly.
that-
Okay.
Lou's over here comparing movies to ugly babies, and now I'm lost.
I think Lou's going to be the one who rages out by the end of this
I
thing.
might.
100%.
You're not ruining my Christmas boys.
Well, let's give her the chance to make a pick. Polar Express stands at number 19, and Lou comes in at number 18 with
Okay.
her first pick of the night.
Okay, if you guys are gonna be like that, I'm gonna do this.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I ain't mad at this.
Oh no.
Yay!
I'm not mad at this at all, and neither is my mother if she's watching. Hi, Mom.
Oh.
Lou's first pick at number 18 is the Winona Ryder, Susan Sarandon, Kirsten Dunst, I think is in this. The 1994 version of Louisa May Alcott's Little Women.
Good choice.
So why Little Women at number 18?
Well, I think I actually saw this. Well, I saw this movie in theaters, and then for Christmas that year, I got a book of this movie, and it wasn't like a novelization. It was like a child's book of this movie, where they had pictures from the movie, and then gave you a real dumbed down version of it. I was maybe, I don't know, 10 at the time, and so I could read a real book, but instead I'm sitting here just devouring this Little Women book. And then it came out on probably tape or something because I'm old, and I loved binge watching this over and over and over again. And some of the best scenes in the movie happen during Christmas time. It's about this whole family, their struggles, their successes, and basically about their daughter Jo and her learning how to like live her life and find happiness in this weird little world that we have. And through that, though, they celebrate Christmas a couple different times, and they have some fun little lessons along the way. It's very childish, but I love it. And it's a sweet story. And the Winona Ryder one, even though one came out last year,
A couple years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, I can't. I'm a homegirl. I can't do it. I made it like halfway through the new one. And I'm just like, yeah.
Oh
Couldn't
no!
do it.
I mean, I think I get it. Like I loved the Greta Gerwig one from a couple years ago. I really enjoyed that one. But
like my type of movie, and I love that one.
yeah, I thought it was wonderful. But yeah, I understand. I think if you have this is a movie where there is your version or an adaptation. Because my mother's is the Elizabeth Taylor version.
Oh.
That's the one that she loves. There are other movies that might be on here that feature a department store Santa Claus, where some people have their version of that movie. I think some people really hate that movie.
Some people do.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's besides the point. I think once you find your version of Little Women, that's the one that you're very passionate about, and this one is yours. And I think it's wonderful and deserves to be on the list. Anyone vetoing Little Women?
No.
I'll fight you in the parking lot.
That's right. It'll be on. She's gonna rage out. Any other thoughts on Little Women?
I haven't actually seen the Winona Ryder one. I've only seen the 2019 because, like I said, that's not really my type of movie. But I do love the 2019 one, so I will give the Winona one a watch this season.
Buckle up. Get ready to fall in love with Winona Ryder.
I already have been.
Well,
like
You're halfway there.
come on, I was an emo kid in high school.
Right.
Being a former theater student with Andy at USD and being a theater professional here in Sioux Falls, Little Women was I remember being one of the first plays like we were ever brought to like as kids. Like he was like it was a field trip thing, you know, and like you went to like this old WPA theater with like 1,300 seats, and there's a bunch of middle schoolers in there like, why am I here? And so I fell in love with it, and so I love that film. So I remember that. But what's crazy, the story that I have about this and why this has to be on this list, because everything has to be about my family. My wife is a voracious reader. I mean, reads everything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even when we were reading like boring stuff like Chekhov in college, she'd take like 3 Sisters and read it. I'm like, what are you doing reading a Czech? Like, that should be a Christmas movie. Everything set in Moscow should be a Christmas movie. But somehow I'd never read this book. And are we allowed to do spoilers on here?
Yeah.
Beth dies.
Beth dies. And she was so into the movie, and I just sat there and waited for it, and waited for it, and waited for it.
It's traumatic.
And it was tears, and it's a great movie. Yeah. And it's a great play if you ever get a chance to see it on stage.
Yeah. Wonderful choice. Wonderful choice. Very happy with this. I'm glad it's on the list. This is one that I think if I would have made this list, I would have forgotten about, unfortunately, and I'm glad it's here. So I will put that on the board here in a little bit at number 18, but we'll move on to number 17, Casey's first pick of the night. What do you got, Casey? All right. This is our first Netflix original on the list, starring Snake Plissken himself, The Christmas Chronicles.
The Christmas Chronicles, Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. This was going to be my first pick, no matter what spot I got. I think this is a perfect, like, bottom of the half of the list movie, because who doesn't love Kurt Russell as Santa Claus? He's the best modern version, one of the best Santa Clauses of all time. He does give something new to the character, because you're so used to Kurt Russell, the machismo actor. And he gives that, but he's also a sweetheart Santa Claus in this movie. I think the sequel is just as good, but I'll give the original the pick here. I think it's a little bit better. But this is a fun, perfectly fine family movie for a modern age, whereas most modern kids' movies these days tend to rub me the wrong way or like piss me off. Looking at you, Home Sweet Home Alone, I'm sure. But I think this just has a certain charm to it that works. The kids are great. They have this mystical like quality to what they think of as Santa Claus. The elves are great in this movie as well, because you look at other modern movies that use CGI, and this uses CGI for the elves as well. But I think it works for what they're trying to do. It has a very fun North Pole. And then you get that little teaser at the end of the movie, Who's Mrs. Claus? And it's like, yep, sign me up for a sequel, and the sequel's a hit too. So yeah, Christmas Chronicles, Kurt Russell, one of, if not my favorite Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Anyone want to veto The Christmas Chronicles? Excellent. Yeah, this is a fun movie. Kurt Russell is a surprisingly wonderful Santa Claus. My go-to word in my brain, Lou, is delightful, and now I feel like I've got to put that word in layaway for a little bit. I'll make little payments, and then I can use it again. But yeah, Christmas Chronicles really is a ton of fun. Anyone have any other thoughts on Christmas Chronicles?
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Russell is Santa Claus. I mean, I prefer my Santas to not have prior arrests due to drug smuggling. So I just think that Kurt Russell's got that going for him. How about them apples, Tim Allen?
We're not done yet, Sam.
No. I like this movie a lot. I still haven't seen the sequel. But everything about this. I mean, what other Christmas movie are we going to have on this list where Santa literally does a blues number in a jail cell? You know what I mean? Like, that alone puts it on this list. That scene is incredible. And I'm a little upset that I didn't have that in my cards because I'd completely forgotten about it. I love this movie. I think heck, maybe it's just my bias with Kurt Russell, but I think it could be even higher. But yeah.
Any other thoughts? Christmas Chronicles?
I think it's a good spot for a streaming film, and
Yeah.
we need to honor that platform. Yeah. I think Christmas movies for me, I didn't necessarily find it a delight.
Or maybe a low-key delight.
it was on, and it was something for us to watch as a family.
Yeah.
But I think it needs, for me, I need my Christmas movies to percolate a little bit before it feels like cultural.
Sure.
So it was fine, and then that's why I don't veto it.
That's why I played it so low.
I think 8-Bit Christmas is gonna pick up some.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's considered. Did that get a cinematic release, or was that just a streaming release?
I think it's just a streaming release. I
Yeah.
don't think it.
So I think that might
theatrical.
bump up in the future.
Yeah, I really enjoy.
If they don't cancel the show.
Yeah.
We'll do it again next year.
Yeah, do it again next year. 8-Bit Christmas on the list. Awesome. So at number 17, it stands The Christmas Chronicles. Let's move on to number 16, which I think is back to Lou with, number 16.
Oh gosh, I'm real scared.
Going through the
You
list.
should be.
I'm real scared.
We're tough.
Checking it twice. I gotta try and incorporate more like Christmas lingo into this whole thing. We'll see what happens. So, so I'm gonna ask a question
Yeah.
to clarify.
Yeah, I mean that. Read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this one stars a 80s comedian.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So at number 16, I'm just having a flashback to my memories of this movie as a little kid. At number 16, Lou has selected the Dudley Moore starring Santa Claus the movie. Lou, talk to me about Santa Claus the movie.
Where my 40-year-olds at? As a girl in her late 30s. This movie was something that was probably on HBO a lot as a kid. I'm assuming. I don't know how else it would have been like just drilled into my brain and then like has been marinating for years and I haven't seen it. And then somewhat random movie collection Corey bought it for me. And so I recently watched it. And it's a delight, you guys. This movie is amazing. It really jingles my bells. No, it's a really good movie. John Lithgow is absolutely off his rocker in this movie. He has the weirdest costuming choices. I think he has some like really fake teeth.
Is he Santa Claus?
No.
If only. No.
Okay.
He plays like a maniacal Mr. Burnsy CEO that.
Toy company?
Yes.
Okay.
You know that
Evil
bit?
John Lithgow.
Yeah, you know that bit from SNL about like bag o' glass and like that? He's that guy.
Yeah.
Like that's the guy. That he is.
Literally.
Yeah, he is literally that guy. And so it's just completely embodied this really weird character for no reason. There's no reason for this guy to be this like kooky. And in fact, Corey looked up an article where John Lithgow isn't like super amped about this movie. And it's just like, no, for shame. This should be like the top thing that you're talking about. Like if you go to the actor's studio, this should be something that they're discussing and figuring out and dissecting because choices were made. Bold choices. Yeah. So if anything, watch it for that. But besides that, it has this really fun, like Scandinavian Santa Claus story. It gives this really cool backstory that you don't need. And it's like 40 minutes into the movie that they introduce the plot, and it's like, ooh, toys, snow, like Dudley Moore. Okay, can we get this going? So it's a really long movie for no reason, but it's a happy, nice, cool movie. It's cool to look at.
Is there something about candy canes in that movie?
There's something about candy canes.
Like I remember bits and pieces of this movie from when I was younger, but I haven't seen it in so long.
Revisit it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one again. Anyone want to veto Santa Claus the movie?
Far be it from me to veto a movie I haven't seen, especially one described in a way that makes me think I would love this movie. Yeah.
I want to watch it right now.
100%. Like, could we just get it up on the screen here? That'll be the rest of the show.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Santa Claus the movie?
I have vetoed movies I have not seen, but this sounds, well, delightful.
Yeah.
I could use more evil John Lithgow in a Christmas movie. So, yes, this is going to go on my must-watch this holiday season list.
Yeah, it's a weird fever dream is what Corey said. And I would agree with that. Because there are definitely moments in the end where it's just like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 40 and somehow have not seen this.
Oh,
but
oh my gosh.
But
Your kids, they would be traumatized.
Oh, great.
You should
It's
watch
on the
it.
list.
Yeah.
It's on the list. But you had me at Scandinavia.
Awesome. Well, then at number 16, we have Santa Claus the movie. And we'll move on to number 15. Jesse Jensen, what is your next selection?
Okay. I might be playing a little loose with the rules here, so just
Okay.
let me know and I will clarify.
All right. Okay. I'll put it to the panel to decide.
Whoa.
Otherwise, I will pick.
Because this is it's. I mean, I understand, but it's a wide selection. The selection that Jesse Jensen made is the Rankin and Bass collection.
And my argument is they're like 20-minute films, Little Drummer Boy.
That kind of narrows it down to Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Otherwise,
Reindeer,
I will-
Santa Claus Coming to Town.
Otherwise, I will just pick Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Anyone? Does it stand?
Ruling.
Judges?
I like to mix things up, create a little chaos.
It's not a movie.
Yeah.
I love these.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
But
incredible.
they're specials, not a feature movie.
They're
I guess we
special,
should
right?
we should have said that at the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my
But
bad.
That's okay. We
But
blame the host.
if you're watching this countdown, just so you know, there will be an episode of Let's talking about the Rankin and Bass
Yes.
Christmas
Woo!
movies.
Yes.
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 Plug for my show.
Also, Little Drummer Boy is boring.
Well, then,
Drummer Boy does suck.
then my pick will be an homage.
All right. At number 15, this is the Will Ferrell starring Elf.
There it is.
So, if I can't get Rankin Bass in there, obviously the film being a tribute to that animation, and those films. If you remember at the beginning where he's, with Bob Newhart and
Right.
in that very two-dimensional look, and that the snowman looks like Frosty Snowman. They actually got there was actual problems with royalties where they didn't know that they could release the film.
Yeah.
But Jon Favreau said this is an homage to Rankin Bass, and they won that ruling. And but those movies are how I marked time as a kid.
Sure.
Being a xenial, I can remember a time when the internet came into my life and cable TV entered my life. So before cable TV, you had 5 channels, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was on. It marked time. You got excited about Christmas coming. Right? It's arriving. And I think that the movie pays a great tribute to that. Of course, it's just mostly a platform for Will Ferrell. But Will Ferrell, that really was his breakout role as a film star.
Sure.
So the way that movie pays homage to that, reminds me of that. That's why I cherish it. And of course, it's still funny to my kids' generation.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
All
And
right.
I thought it was a good spot for it.
Yeah, I will say I think this is a great spot for Elf. And I'll discuss my thoughts on it in just a moment. But anyone want to veto Elf?
No.
I literally wrote a card that says veto Elf. So veto Elf.
Are you vetoing Elf?
Yes.
All right.
This movie is not. This movie's not good.
I
Wow.
want to listen.
I wrote a card specifically for it.
So then I want to
Wow.
say, just to take some of the heat off of Casey, because Lord knows. This movie to me is the Hocus Pocus of Christmas, and I don't like Hocus Pocus.
I don't like that.
I was just
Well-
thinking, wow, that sounds amazing.
And for some people, that's the greatest thing ever.
One of those.
Not for me.
I'm on the middle ground.
I appreciate Elf more than I appreciate Hocus Pocus. So yeah, that's right. I said it.
I knew it was coming into some territory here. And I was hearing grumblings about Elf with this crew.
So now that we've completely alienated Jesse Jensen, I still adore you.
I like Elf. I just wasn't gonna play it.
Yeah,
I still adore you, Jesse
Sure.
Jensen.
I made my argument. I think artistically it has a place on this list.
You know what though? Here's the thing.
You can play it
You
higher.
can play it higher.
He could play it high.
Oh, that's so sweet.
This is I like it when you find something that's really polarizing.
Right. It's true. It's
And
true.
It
When you
doesn't
get
seem
that-
like there's an in
when
between
you
here.
hit that chord, or when you get that reaction to something that you weren't expecting, like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Who knew it was gonna be Elf?
I know.
Like, who knew that was gonna bring the fire and brimstone out over here?
Who knew it was gonna be Jesse and not me?
Yeah, people started
You're
asking
taking the
about
heat off of me, man. Do you want to do all of these?
I said
Sam,
before
don't
we
get too
started
comfortable.
recording
You've got
that I was only going to veto one movie.
I can't
and
tell
it's
you
that movie. So.
how
Do you
often
have a reason for this
I
veto?
don't
What
like.
did he
I don't
do
like.
to you?
I don't like Elf. I think it's a bad movie.
Why?
And I love Will Ferrell. I don't buy his shtick at all in this movie. I don't think any of the cheesy, heartwarming BS in this movie works. Just to put it lightly. Like,
Merry
how
Christmas.
I mean,
everybody.
to be
Merry
fair,
Christmas. Oh,
to be
sorry.
fair, the Disney Plus movie Noelle is a better version of Elf.
Also, Will Ferrell's career got started by Night at the Roxbury, not Elf.
Night at the Roxbury sucks.
But this was him really leading the film, you know, like he was, I mean, he had to anchor the thing, and they were taking a risk on him.
He didn't
I
have
mean,
to
they
lean
were.
on Chris Kattan.
Because he was in movie jail after that. After Night at the Roxbury.
It's true. Didn't do very well.
I can't tell you
How often I say the yellow ones don't stop.
I just,
All right. So, Jesse, once again, you have to make another selection.
oh, I do. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all. This rules.
Still you.
All right.
God, should we
Then-
veto him again just to mess with him?
We're supposed to be nice.
They're all going to burn their vetoes right now.
This is too high for that one. All right. Let's go with.
All right.
You don't have like a malicious revenge pick or anything?
Well, I don't want to keep picking.
Listen. No, I love this movie. So, at number 15, Jesse Jensen has selected the first Macaulay Culkin stuck in a house movie, Home Alone.
Oh, good applause. Awesome. Obviously, what I like about this movie is it really sets up Die Hard because it's just kid Die Hard,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it is. It's kid Die Hard, and the John Williams score is. I mean, you could listen to the John Williams score by itself,
Yeah.
and it feels like Christmas. So if I'm going by just rewatchability and then saving the better stuff for the top,
Sure.
I think that's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
And it's endless fun. My kids, I mean, laughing at it just as hard as I did when it came out when I was a kid. So.
Yeah. We watched this the weekend of just this past weekend actually, and this entered my Golden Avocado pantheon. I love this movie. I think it's just a true joy rather than delightful. But I'll put it out there for anyone, and just so you know, multiple movies from a franchise can be played.
Yeah.
So, does anyone want to veto the first Home Alone?
I'm not going to veto this for fear that it's going to get played higher. I'll just say that Home Alone 2 is the better movie, and neither of them need to be top 10 of this list. But
Sam Lenz
I think it's fine where it is.
making bold statements.
Yep.
Well, Home Alone stands. Anyone else have any thoughts on the 1990 classic Home Alone?
My faith in Jesse has been restored.
All right. There we go.
I do think this could be higher, but I'm fine with it here because I have other personal picks that probably need to go up higher than Home Alone. But yeah, I think this is a perfect movie. Like Andy, you said, it's a Golden Avocado type of movie. Yeah, it is. Macaulay Culkin delivers one of the best child performances of all time. He's so delightful in this movie. The John Williams score is great. I don't think we give enough credit to Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern when we talk about this
Joe
movie.
Pesci's the best part of the movie. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Well, probably Daniel Stern, but yeah,
Yeah.
one of the robbers.
Yeah, Daniel Stern's good too, but Joe Pesci's just my guy.
I think they're both great. Their chemistry is just off the charts. And who would have thought of that before this movie, that Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern would be like this great slapstick comedic duo, and they work so well together. I think Home Alone 2 is funnier. I don't think it's a better movie because it's the exact same movie, just in New York.
Yeah, that makes it better.
I think Catherine O'Hara and John Candy kind of saved this movie. Catherine O'Hara throughout the whole thing, when she screams and yells Kevin, I still live for that. And she recently, I think last year, did like a new version of that, and that was just really fun for me. I think I watched it too many times on the Instagram. but no, I love her in it. She's, I don't know, maybe because I want her to be my mom. Like, she was great in Beetlejuice. I mean, not a good mom. She's a really bad mom. But she's kind of a bad mom in this movie too, because I mean, to be fair, her kid said something real crappy to her, but then she like turned on him like that and like threw him up in the attic. It was like, whatever, kid, like figure it out, grow up. And it's like, he's like 7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
I wouldn't want to sleep with my cousin who wets the bed either.
Well, yeah, but somebody has to. I mean, they have a full house, and I don't know.
Fuller can sleep on the floor.
Yeah, Fuller, and he needs to stop drinking the Pepsi
That's
too.
right.
It's his fault. His dad stinks. I hate him. But no, and then John Candy at the end is just a delight. He's so much fun, and I believe most of his lines were ad-libbed, which is super cool and not a shock, I guess. But that whole what is it? The Kenosha Kickers. They're like not a jazz band.
They're a
polka.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff was fabulous, and it has that really like they take those tiny little bits from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles of that desperation to get home for the holidays, and then they have that beautiful moment at the end with the snow falling down, and I believe it was real snow, which makes it extra good. But then they like put like those flakes in it, you know, to make it look extra snowy.
Yeah.
And then that house is cool, and it just makes you wonder what his dad does for a living. And I don't know, does she work? What's happening? She's
So-
not raising the kids. She's not doing a good job there.
There's a little throwaway line that it's not like, because the discussion is that he has this big huge house and then is able to pay for the whole family to go to France.
Yeah.
He doesn't buy the tickets to go to France. The brother buys the tickets for the family to go to France. Not the brother who's there, the
Yep.
brother who's in France.
Yeah, not the cheap brother,
Yes.
the one that's like, put them in your purse. Put them
Right.
in your purse. Yeah.
So, but still, how he has that nice house. I mean, he works for Tony Soprano. Like that's what
Right.
the connect the memes. That's
Yeah.
how it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. He gets killed eventually, I think, because of it. Anyway, Merry Christmas,
What
everybody.
Home Alone movie is that?
Well, it's The Sopranos.
That's one of the seasons of The Sopranos.
Oh.
That's a Christmas movie all in itself. I'm sure there's a big Christmas party at the Bada Bing in one thing or another. Sopranos
Love and
Sopranos
Soul.
jokes for those of you watching at home.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and move along here. Number 14, Sam Lenz.
Oh God.
What do you got for me? Okay. Yeah, okay. This is a wonderful motion picture. And it's the happiest Christmas because Bing Crosby tap dances with Danny Kaye. White Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. White Christmas.
Yay.
See, sometimes I have classy picks. No, what can I say about White Christmas? I mean, everybody's heard the song from it. You know, Bing Crosby's incredible. Danny Kaye is hilarious. Rosemary Clooney and Vera Ellen. Thank you.
Jared coming through the
like-
clutch.
the whole quad of lead actors in this are just so charming and so talented. Yeah, the plot is essentially, you know, used to string along a bunch of dance numbers and song, but those song and dance numbers are also like some of the best in any musical, I would say. I think I'm not a huge musical person, but I genuinely think White Christmas is like one of the best. And I don't know. I love this movie through and through. What cemented what I was going to play on this list is that, I mean, the State Theater just opened up, and on its opening weekend, it played White Christmas. And to see it with an audience coming out of the cold into the very warm State Theater and watching this movie, it was just incredible. And this is one that we watch in my home multiple times every Christmas season. I have it on VHS.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I love it. I love White Christmas. I was gonna maybe play it higher, but I just didn't know where it would fit with the rest of what everybody was picking and what my picks are. So, yeah, White Christmas needed to be on this list. So,
Excellent. Anyone vetoing White Christmas?
No.
All right. What do we think about it?
Am I a monster?
I have a question. So have we all seen White Christmas like multiple times? Oh,
Once.
just once.
I saw it at the State. Was the first time I ever watched it.
Good. What a magical experience for you.
Thank goodness for the state.
Right? Yeah. Big shout out to the State Theater. We love it.
So my question is, what is like there's a lot of songs and a lot of dancing in that movie. Is there one song that like sticks out to you where like, oh, whatever?
Yeah, but for reasons.
Ooh, what's
Yeah,
your
what
reason?
Andy said, the one where they have like
I was trying to just dance around that. Yes,
Yeah.
there is one particular music number that hasn't aged well, but
Oh, you mean the blackface?
Yes.
Oh.
they don't actually do blackface in
Who
it.
has come to play?
I would like to point out that they don't actually do blackface in White Christmas. The number was used in a movie prior, and they did use blackface. That is very unfortunate. I do not condone blackface. I want that on the record.
I didn't know you were running for office later. I'm sorry.
You know what? I
We've got,
just
we've got an exploratory committee going.
just in case, I want to make sure my polling numbers are good. Yes, that is an unfortunate circumstance of that movie,
and
but
it's a
it
very
doesn't.
unnecessary scene in the movie.
It
You
is,
just got
yes.
It has nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I just kind of pretend that one doesn't happen, and I go get a snack during that scene, and then I come back, and it's a perfectly harmless movie.
At least it's not like another Christmas movie that it hinges its final act on blackface, so that's good.
Oh God.
I hope we're not going to talk about it, but if we do, it'll come up.
Oh dear.
I don't even know what you're talking about. That's crazy. Okay.
Trading
Possible
places.
foreshadowing.
Yes, it's trading place.
What a night. All right. Any other thoughts on White Christmas?
I think it has kind of an unbelievable storyline in it where the little sister, well, she's supposed to, like, they kind of reference her like she's some young ingenue kind of person. It's like, she's got to be like, what, 34, 35? Like, what's happening there? And then that they put her in a love story with Danny Kaye. There's so many unrealistic things happening. Like, it just felt like kind of funny and it didn't need to happen, but it's like, it's the catalyst to get them to have the shakeup.
It's kind of strange to hear that because I feel that with Bing Crosby, where I'm like, why are you going to date this like 60-year-old man? I get he's charming,
Have you heard him say?
and I get
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah, and have you
like,
seen Danny Kaye dance? That man can get it.
Oh yeah, no, but there's just, I mean, I like Danny Kaye. I find him very attractive. Just nothing's going to happen there. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
What a takedown of White Christmas.
White Christmas. It's a fabulous movie, and I love that it starts with like war-torn Europe, and they show this like really. Christmas in Connecticut starts with some more stuff too,
Sure.
and I think that's kind of cool because of that era. All of these people. You know, their brothers, their fathers themselves had just served in a war. And so then they come back and a couple of years have passed and everyone's like, oh, let's make Christmas movies about it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
Enough time's passed. It's totally fine. And so I kind of like that they reference the war and that they're veterans. And then they have this person of power over them that retires, but then they find him later. Their old general has now retired and has opened this little inn, which is struggling. And they all show up there for vacation because Bing Crosby's character kind of has forgotten to settle down and have a family. And so his partner is kind of pushing him in that direction. Hey, why don't you go do that? And so that's how they end up out there. And I kind of love all that. I like the circumstances. And I think it's a really fun, super cute movie. And the songs are still really good. And the ending.
Yeah, it's a nice feel-good movie. So yeah, White Christmas. Any other thoughts before we move on? White Christmas it is at number 14. So we'll move on to number 13, C, which I believe is Lou, right? I'm going to end up forgetting the order as we go along, even though I'm so used to just saying who's who. All right, number 13. What has Lou selected? All right, I don't know the year on this, so I'm going to say the actor, so thank you for including that. This is the classic Christmas Tale starring George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge in that version of A Christmas Carol. Derek, do you know what year this one came out? 1984. Thank you so much. So 1984's version of A Christmas Carol. With so many cinematic versions of A Christmas Carol, Lou, why is this one your pick?
Well, I hate to maybe trap myself here. I'm not sure it's a cinematic version. It might have been a made-for-TV movie.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it? Do we know? I'm not sure.
It is a TV movie. It is a feature film.
It's a feature
Okay,
film.
it's a feature film.
So
Pretty
it's
cool,
okay.
pretty cool. Okay. No, I love this version of it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Patton, and I think George C. Scott is Patton.
Yeah.
And so I don't have any other baseline for him besides this movie, and I think he's fabulous in it. Another kind of weird age gap where Ebenezer Scrooge is clearly 70, and he's like frightened that he's going to die. It's like, well, I mean, you can be nice to Tiny Tim all you want, but like, you're not giving that many more years, dear. So there's just this kind of a couple funny things, but the casting's really great. And I just think I don't know, it's just my favorite. It has good music, and just like any kind of favorite movie, like you just kind of trail off and don't have any facts. It's like, I like it.
Yeah, no, I think this is a movie. It's such an interesting situation because this is a movie that can appear multiple times, and that's fine. Like, it feels perfectly justified. So I think it's fun to see the first version of A Christmas Carol, maybe the only version of A Christmas Carol that makes this list, is the 1984 George C. Scott version. Anyone wanting to veto this version of A Christmas Carol? It stands.
Phew.
Do we have any thoughts on this one?
I've not seen this version, but it makes me curious how many versions of A Christmas Carol we're going to get, because I can think of two that are also considered
Pretty
genuine Christmas classics.
Mhm.
So I think we're going to get multiple versions of this.
I don't think this will be the last time we talk about A Christmas Carol. I do have the George C. Scott one, and I feel like I've watched it in passing. I just have never actually sat down and watched it front to back, so I'll have to do that. But yeah, this is the last time that we're going to
This
talk
isn't
about
the
A
last
Christmas
time
Carol.
we'll meet over this. And then you're doing A Christmas Carol production right
Thank
now.
you
so,
for leading me into that.
but what's your favorite version of it? Or have we not? Should we not go there yet?
Let's not go there.
We can't go there.
We probably
We
can't.
can't go there. Do you
My favorite version is the one on stage downtown at the Orpheum Theater.
Right, yeah.
What I like about A Christmas Carol, it is my favorite. When we decided our organization to make it an annual family tradition, the risk was, are people going to want to see it every year?
Right.
Well, to me, the story is timeless. Obviously, it's a story about time. It's a story about how we spend time together. You have one of the roundest characters ever, I suppose, most iconic round characters in Scrooge. Yeah. But it's not just that bubblegum, cheery, typical Christmas film. It's deep. It's frightening. I mean, there are versions of that film that have really frightened me as a kid. So, and you see that on stage. Christmas Carol just did really well. First to win a Christmas themed film to win a Tony. Did really well at the last time at the Tony Awards, and so you see that on stage too. How versatile that story is. And the one we're doing actually is was written for the Guthrie.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
we were the first to get the rights to that. So that's why I just think that A Christmas Carol is just very universal.
And I think the thing about it is, I think it's a great idea to do it every year, because this is every year people are searching for Christmas entertainment, and I think if there's the opportunity to get people in a room to go see a play, seeing something that's as known as this is, that's gonna, for lack of a classy way of putting it, put butts in seats so that they can enjoy one of the greatest stories, committed to stage and film.
Yeah.
So yeah, excellent pick with Christmas Carol. I believe I saw this when I was way too young, because I think this is one that freaked me out. One of those versions of A Christmas Carol that really scared me. Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
in general.
Yeah.
In my brain.
Yeah, I'm done. Like, no sleeping. So yeah, wonderful pick, number 13. Number 12 is Casey Kelderman. What is your pick? Okay, all right. At number 12, we have another comedy, and I like this one. This stars, let's see if I can get all of them, Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anthony Mackie, The Night Before.
And Michael Shannon.
Michael
Yes.
Shannon.
Green.
Oh my
Shannon.
God! I'm so glad you played
Steals
this.
the movie.
Who
Actually.
steals the movie, should have been nominated for an Oscar. He's so good in this movie.
Oh, he really is.
The night before, I would play this higher, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I love this movie.
This movie's a banger.
This has become an annual tradition since I watched it in the theater. I've watched it every year since. I think it is one of those Seth Rogen era comedies that really stands out with the greats. I think it is one of his best. Every time I watch this movie, him in church is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. Oh God.
After so the premise of the movie is Joseph Gordon-Levitt lost his parents at like 18 or something like that. And every year since, Anthony Mackie and Seth Rogen are his two best friends. They get together on Christmas Eve and spend the entire night together getting into mishaps.
Shenanigans.
And then they've always heard this story about the Nutcracker Ball, this biggest party ever that they always wanted to attend to. So on their final night of hanging out on Christmas as friends, they finally get tickets to it. And to celebrate, Seth Rogen's pregnant wife gives him every drug known to man because he's Seth Rogen.
Little box. It's incredible.
And one of my favorite lines is, "Yeah, the drugs are so disproportionate. My wife doesn't know anything about drugs." And so after Seth Rogen has taken a bunch of them, he ends up at church with a Jewish, Hanukkah
A Catholic church with a.
and he asks questions like, "Who is that guy?" And it's Jesus hanging on the wall. And he's like, "We didn't murder him. We didn't kill Jesus." And it's just the funniest thing ever. It gets me every single time. And then by the end of the movie, there's a character whose nickname is the Messiah. And he ends up crucifying the Messiah. And it's like such a great payoff to the joke from earlier. I love this movie. It has a ton of heart too. And I think that's something that really stands out in the rest of like the Seth Rogen type of movies. All these characters get arcs and it works so well. And there's so much heart and joy in this movie. The only thing I don't love is the ending with Tracy Morgan, where it's like, yeah, we just had Tracy Morgan for this movie, and that's just, it has nothing to do with the movie. Like, the
I feel
movie
like
itself,
that's Tracy Morgan's career to an extent. Tracy Morgan was just hanging out, so we threw him in there.
Yeah,
I
that's why.
like Christmas.
That's why
He's
he's
good.
Captain Caveman and Scoop.
he's good. Like he's good in the movie. He's just not needed in this movie.
I'll be in your movie.
And also, Michael Shannon just is the best in this movie. He delivers one of, if not my favorite Michael Shannon performance ever. He's so good.
Yeah, I love this movie. I'm so glad you played it. It wasn't even in my stack, but yeah, I saw you watched it recently, so I was kind of hoping you would. There is a scene in this where Seth Rogen is tripping and he's freaking out about being a dad, and he goes into the bathroom stall and he records a very profane video for his for his baby that's coming. And it's the funniest thing. I mean, he literally ends with an R-rated version of "Screw you, baby," and his face is also—it's just the best.
And then he shows it to his wife.
Yeah, he
again.
shows it to
It's
his
such a great chemistry between him and
Jillian Bell. Yeah.
Like she laughs about him freaking out over having a kid. It's great.
Oh God, it is. It's tremendous, and it does actually get me a little choked up at the end because it's a very sweet movie at its core. But yeah, it's also just gut-bustingly funny.
Also, people complain about like the celebrity cameos and.
Oh, I think it's perfect.
I think these all work great.
I
James
think
Franco and Miley Cyrus one.
the Miley Cyrus one is incredible. Joseph Gordon-Levitt trying to sing "Wrecking Ball" is hilarious.
While proposing to his girlfriend that he broke up with 3 months earlier.
Yes, it's the best.
I think this has been a really funny reaction sandwich over here because in the middle you have Casey and Sam who are just, oh, yeah, like loving that this movie got selected.
This movie.
And then on the ends we're kind of, night before made the list. What do you think, Jesse, Lou? Any thoughts on the night before?
It was really hard to listen to it because I just had been brought into the realm of you just wearing that costume. Like we have not talked about that costume enough. I realized I didn't listen to a thing, so I'm like, hey, where did you get that?
Target.
Nice.
So that's why my reaction.
Gotcha. He's just fascinated that you're still in that.
Like, wow.
But Lou,
Yeah.
Lou, I know that you were just wrapped with this conversation. So tell me, The Night Before.
I don't think this is a Lou movie.
Yeah.
There's some movies that just aren't Lou movies.
Yeah.
I can be finicky and fickle or whatever about stuff, and I can be kind of, I don't know, uptight or something. I don't know, but I'm just sitting here like, oh, inside jokes are fun. Okay. I'll just look at my cards.
Yeah, right?
You boys have fun though.
Have you seen this movie?
Is
I'm
it
not.
is it staying on the list? Does anyone have any anti-Night Before stance that they want to veto it from the list? All right, Night Before stands at number 12. It's funny because I do like this movie. I like this movie quite a bit. But it's funny when we kind of look at the list so far, when you think of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, that now
It's better than Home Alone and
legally,
White Christmas.
legally, The Night Before is, I mean, it's
I
going down
told you
in
this
the
list
book.
was gonna be
Wow.
That The Night
nuts.
Before is a better movie than White Christmas. This
According
is
to
what
this
we've done.
podcast, I guess it is. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's how it is. So, Casey, what other surprises do you have in store for us at number 11?
Oh, I'm so hot.
Another movie that is going to be better than White Christmas and Home Alone.
Oh God.
At number 11,
I'm being nice with this
I
position too.
can't even get mad at this one.
Oh.
Number 11, it's terrible tie. Jingle
Oh.
all the way.
I knew that was coming.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Jingle All the Way. It's
It's fun.
it's
fun.
honestly one of my favorite movies of all time. Period. Christmas or not. I don't know what it is. It's definitely nostalgia. That's definitely what it is. I love this movie. Every time I watch it, I quote every single line of this movie. I love Schwarzenegger trying to be suburban Minnesota dad, even though he has a very thick Austrian accent throughout this movie.
I am Turbo Man.
Sinbad is in a completely different movie than everyone else, and it's incredible. You talk about great emotional scenes in Christmas movies. Sinbad in the diner where he becomes Jake Lloyd and starts drinking the alcohol. It's up there with some of the great dramatic Christmas moments of all time.
Sure.
Is that your Turbo Man?
This is my Turbo
I can
Man.
tell. I made it make it these actions.
It's
and you're
not
like, no.
even his only Turbo Man doll.
I have 2 Turbo Mans. I found this one. It is an original.
Oh.
I always wanted. I felt like the kid from this movie where I always wanted a Turbo Man doll. My parents would just never get it for me. So now, as a 27-year-old adult, I have 2. So take that, Mom and Dad.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Anyone vetoing Jingle All the Way?
It will go higher if you do.
I mean,
No.
he brought a toy. You can't
He
do
did.
that.
He
to
brought a
somebody.
He will 100% play it at number you don't have, yeah, he'll play it at number 2 if you let him. So yeah, it should stay here. I like this movie a lot. This is another nostalgia one for me. Ever since I've been a kid, I really haven't revisited it a lot. I just don't feel the need to go back and revisit it. I watched it enough as a kid, but I do really like this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's my second favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy.
After Junior?
Twins.
Oh,
It's
okay, got it.
Kindergarten Cop, guys.
Amanda?
That movie that was made for absolutely no one.
It is
But
also the first movie that has ever made 2 different lists that we've done on these live shows.
Really?
that is fair. Yeah.
Both played by me.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. No, I
Also,
like.
Phil Hartman rules in this
Yes.
movie.
I'm so
Is he the sleazy guy who's trying
sleazy
to?
neighbor who's sleeping with all the single moms that live in the neighborhood because it's Phil Hartman and he can cook.
I'm just baking cookies for your wife. Like he's burning his finger. Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
funny.
you can eat my wife's cookies.
Yeah.
Put that cookie down now.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I like it. I don't know if I would have played it this high, but that's okay because I knew Casey would.
Lou, Jesse, any thoughts on Jingle All the Way?
I could not break your heart. You brought a toy. And so you love this movie. There's no way I could veto it. So
I think it's a super fun movie, and I'm so glad that you brought up Phil Hartman because honestly, he's like the best in this. Well, besides Sinbad, because he does add a certain flavor as well.
Yeah.
I love that Sinbad like makes jokes about like bombs and like pipe
He
bombing
blows
people.
he blows up a cop in this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's fine. That's okay. Making jokes about going postal and bombing people, that's something that would totally fly in a movie these days. But Phil Hartman's really great. And just watching it, it's like, oh man, like he would be so cool older. So that's like a bummer. But super happy about this movie. Every time I see it, it's just kind of cute because it is so stupid. And it's like,
Really
it's a stretch, right? But I grew up in an era where Cabbage Patch Dolls were a thing. And like my mom, like, went to a store like behind a dumpster and paid somebody $40 for a Cabbage Patch Doll around Christmas time.
did your Cabbage Patch doll, like, was it like possessed by a serial killer?
You mean Bernard?
Yeah.
No.
'Cause that sounds like the plot of Child's
It does. It does. Well, he did have red hair and glasses. Oh, Chucky doesn't have glasses though, so different thing. No, I like it a lot. It's really cute.
Yeah, I am also a fan of this movie. I always remember this was our Christmas movie the year that it came out. We would go to the movie theaters as a family every Christmas Eve and go see something. And this was the one that I think we saw that year. I don't remember. Did it actually come out at Christmas time? Maybe I'm misremembering. I know we saw it in theaters the weekend that it came out. The funny thing to me about this movie, and I've said this before, and I don't know if it's a Tickle Me Elmo or not, but the year that it came out, Tickle Me Elmo was the big toy.
That sounds about right.
You couldn't find anything anywhere. There's a scene in this movie where they are fighting to try and find a Turbo Man doll, and in the background on the shelf there are tons of Elmos. Like there's just an Elmos as far as the eye can see. And I don't think it was a Tickle Me Elmo doll, but it is an Elmo, and I was just like, if they only knew what was really going to happen. Jingle All the Way at number 11. Let's recap our bottom 10 so far. So at number 20, we have Krampus. Number 19, Polar Express. Number 18, the 1994 Little Women. At number 17, The Christmas Chronicles. Number 16, Santa Claus the Movie. 15, Home Alone. 14, White Christmas. 13, the George C. Scott starring A Christmas Carol. Number 12, The Night Before. And number 11, Jingle All the Way, which means it is time for the top 10 Christmas movies of all time. Kicking it off is Sam Lenz with number 10.
in the top.
What do we got? This is on brand. All right.
Oh,
No.
It's a good
In
one.
a good way.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, okay.
This is one of the greatest movies ever made, people, okay? It should be higher on this list, but I'm nice.
So, like, if you were to make that like one of those, like, is this is to that as this is to that, you know, those I can't remember what they're called now because I'm old. But for Sam, yeah, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. It is 1974's Christmas slasher, Black Christmas.
This low?
I know, I'm surprising myself tonight.
Figuring this crowd out.
So, I mean, obviously, I heard the applause. You all love Black Christmas. The original is a classic. It's incredible. I mean, you can say what you will. Halloween is one of my favorite movies of all time. But Black Christmas did what Halloween did before Halloween did it. You know? Like, that and Texas Chainsaw Massacre are really what set off the modern slasher. And I just find Black Christmas to be such a tense and riveting experience. It's a typical, like, guy sneaks into a sorority house, is up in the base or up in the attic making like lewd phone calls downstairs, and they don't know they're coming from inside the house until, you know, the cops trace the call and it's coming from inside the house. Incredible. There is not a moment of this movie where there's not severe tension, from the opening shot that does the POV thing of the killer coming into the house a whole 4 years before Halloween did it, to everything, the lighting, the editing. There's a scene in which a girl is getting stabbed with a unicorn glass figurine while there are Christmas carolers outside, and the juxtaposition between the two is both horrifying and cozy, and I don't know how it does it, but like, I know sounding like a psycho again, but this is one of my comfort movies. Like, this is one that I put on in December when I'm like, oh, I'm feeling cozy. I'm gonna put a blanket on and watch a Christmas movie. Like, Black Christmas is one of them that I gravitate towards. I love this movie. It's like the first time I watched it was actually a few years ago. I had not seen it until like maybe 2-3 years ago. I watched it home by myself on Christmas Eve, and I couldn't sleep that night. I slept with the lights on. I checked the door like 5 different times throughout the night. This movie terrifies me, and I love it. And it's also like cozy and warm, and I don't know. My brain is weird. I love Black Christmas. It should be higher on this list, but I have a couple other ones that I want to make sure are on this list because y'all are not playing what I expected you to. So
As the guy who played. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Any vetoes for Black Christmas? All right, Black Christmas stands at number 10. Any other thoughts on this this horror classic?
I am terrified that this is only at number 10 from Sam Lenz. Because he has 2 more picks left in this game, and I can think of what else Sam would play, and I'm not happy about that. But I am happy Black Christmas is in the top 10. This movie's incredible. It's one of the best slasher movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get 2 Bob Clark movies on this list.
Yeah, I hope
that's
so too.
Probably a guarantee.
I hope so too.
Yeah, this movie is just a terrifying, gross horror movie. Like, I don't know how it's a comfort movie because it is.
I don't know. I watched
it
it yesterday and it felt pretty comforting.
For me, it's a shower movie. Like, I watch Black Christmas and I'm like, I need to take a shower after this. But I think it is.
Well, I like showering,
it's
so
a trendsetter for horror movies. It did set the template for what John Carpenter would do 4 years later. Some would argue better. I'm not one of those people. I know one of those people. He's sitting in the front row. But yeah, Black Christmas rules. This is an incredible slasher. Needed to be on this list. It's the best Christmas horror movie.
Yeah.
It needed more Margot Kidder. Like, I was kind of
Yes.
sad that she didn't have a bigger role. I really liked her, like, chain smoking, taking phone calls, and not taking crap from anybody. And then,
And the reveal that after you've seen her for the first like act and a half chain smoking, you realize she's an asthmatic. I just love that character moment.
what are you gonna do?
She's
You know,
gasping for breath and they give her an inhaler.
well, she's made her choices. You know, it's fine. I like movies that don't have a bow on it, and this one definitely does not. You don't get a ton of answers, and
No, the ending
I
is
like that.
utterly disturbing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. I love it.
Jesse, any thoughts? I feel like this movie is right in your wheelhouse. This is Black Christmas.
Well,
Hey,
it-
this
it-
will traumatize your kids.
It will traumatize. And
It traumatized me, and I was an adult.
right, you know, and I've got a 14-year-old now, so we're getting there.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so you know, we've watched. For some reason, The Ring like really turned him off
Sure.
to horror movies
Sure.
for a while. But before that, he'd
It's a good
seen some things you really like. But this would be this is a great family film.
Yeah.
And what I love about this too is you just see the influence. That early influence, I think, from A Christmas Carol. I really do. Like, I'm not just saying that to like promote anything. You're like, wow, that show has these frightening moments.
Yeah.
Is Christmas? Let's explore that more.
Yeah.
And that's where it
Yeah.
feels. I mean, that's where
Right.
I feel like we're that genre of let's make Christmas scary, like in Gremlins and things like that. Like, that juxtaposition is just something I appreciate.
Yeah.
From some of those films that are on this list.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoy this movie. I think it is. I'm more of a fan of Halloween, just going back to that, but I love this movie with all of my being. And I haven't seen the most recent remake of it, but I like the middle remake of it too. Like, I'm just a fan of this storyline, and it's hard for me to, like, if there's a remake that takes a story and still has fun with it, I'm okay with it. I'm not as anti-remake as I probably should be.
I'm not anti-remake, but I'm very hard on remakes of
Sure.
Black Christmas just because of how much I love the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, neither of them did a whole lot for me, but
Yeah.
they're fine.
I want to watch the new one because it is now streaming on HBO Max. So,
I think it's better than the 07 one, but I've
Okay.
also been told I'm crazy for that opinion. So
I can appreciate that. All right, moving on. Number 9, B, which is Jesse Jensen.
I'm sorry. I thought
Oh my God, I
didn't
went
see a
two
card up
movies.
there.
Oh man, he is not prepared. Wow.
I'm
Come
gonna
on,
forget.
Jesse.
Here we go.
Jesse, did you steal that hat from work?
I did.
Is it a prop? I thought it was a prop.
Let me just write it down because
Okay.
I thought we had one more.
Someone's on stage right now wondering, like, where's my
I know,
hat?
where's my hat? Where's Jesse?
This
It's
is
opening
Scrooge's
night.
hat. It's a hilarious
Is
prank.
it opening night?
It is opening night.
Man, that's gonna freak somebody out.
Oh,
Ah. All right, coming in at number 9. I'm gonna say this one, and I have a feeling it might get vetoed for a good reason.
ooh.
This is our annual trip to Nakatomi Plaza with Bruce Willis. Die Hard.
I'm not gonna veto it.
There it is.
I thought I'd try and get this one in here now. I
Yeah.
do think it's a good spot for it. I think it's legitimate. It is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I love action films. It like you said with with Black Christmas, there's a warmth to it. It's one of those movies where I can put on. I might. People always say, "Oh, if you like to fall asleep to movies, is it really that good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is," because I'm in the story, but there's the action, and then I love how even the movie, it's like that argument is kind of contemporary now. Like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie, right? I like how the movie like establishes that like right away, like with that referral to A Christmas in Hollis, Queens by the Beatles of hip hop, Run DMC,
Right.
Which big. I love hip hop, and there's that moment where Bruce Willis says, "Can you turn some Christmas music on?" And his limo driver goes, "This is Christmas music." And I'm like, that is a contemporary. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that argument was happening before the really being popular to have that kind of tired now argument online. But it is a Christmas movie. If Home Alone is a Christmas movie, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. You can set Home Alone anywhere at any time. You could have set it, it would work.
Yeah.
And then Die Hard, of course, has that legacy of let's do Die Hard on a bus. Let's do Die Hard on a plane. Let's do. I love the fact that Frank Sinatra was originally drafted to play the lead, and then they went with Bruce Willis, and everyone was like, "No, that's a terrible choice."
Sinatra would be so much better.
I mean, he literally got booed at the trailer when they put Bruce. Like, "Oh, that dork can't play an action film." They're just. I think it's really. That argument becoming cultural, even if, like I said, it's kind of tired. So it kind of probably bumps it up the list just because of that argument. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Die Hard. I asked the question, is anyone going to veto Die Hard's placement at number 9?
No, because he just took care of one of my problems, which is I had 2 picks left and only and 4 cards. So I'm good with it being here just because it's on the list. Who doesn't love Die Hard, right? I mean, Die Hard is incredible. It's the template for the modern action movie. Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman being in his first feature film at 41 years old, right out the gate, gives what I consider to be one of the best performances in any modern blockbuster. He's incredible. And I know the Oscars don't give awards to movies like that because, whatever. Get your thumb out of your butt. But no, Alan Rickman deserved all the awards. Love that season. And I think his villain is a big part of what stands the test of time, but also the fact that like Bruce Willis isn't the action hero, like not even in that movie. He's not really an action hero. He's just some schmo that like gets the crap kicked out of him and lives to tell about it.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And it's a great, you can take this as a Christmas movie so many ways. It's about financial stress over the holiday season. Hans Gruber just wants to pay for Christmas for his family. That's my backstory anyways. And, like Bruce Willis, he's just trying to get back together with his family, because it's the holidays. He's got to be with them. And yeah, it's a Christmas movie and it's a damn good one. So yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's hard to not feel for John McClane like right away. And actually, let's be real. Bonnie Bedelia, is that his wife? I don't know her name in the movie, but his wife. Let's
Really?
be real. Like,
Pauly Gennaro.
okay.
They make a big deal out of it.
Wow.
Gennaro. Not his last name.
Well, can you imagine being her? So, like, your soon-to-be ex-husband just showed up at work. You have to work late. Then all of a sudden, these bank robbers show up. I mean, it's a really crappy day, and she just wants to go home. And then we have Carl Winslow outside. There's a lot happening.
Reginald Val Johnson.
No, it's a great movie. And, Casey didn't have a veto, but he wouldn't use it because he has a shirt on that's a line from that movie. So.
Actually, I would have used it.
No,
To
because
play
you
it
want
to
it
be-
higher.
I think it needs
higher
to
and
be
higher.
higher.
Now, Die Hard's good, but have you guys seen Die Hard 2?
Oh, I love Die
Die
Hard
Hard
too.
I love Die Hard too.
You know that does take place on Christmas.
It's
We have I thought we had a conversation. Somebody had a conversation recently that it was a New Year's
I
movie.
was wrong.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Casey
okay.
was wrong. He kept
I
trying
for
to
some
tell me it
reason
was a
thought
New
it
Year's
was.
movie, you gaslighter.
Because of the great final line of this movie is from Argyle. If this is what you do on Christmas, I got to be around for New Year's.
Oh,
I was like, okay, so the sequel takes place on New Year's, right? No, I was wrong. But this is a better movie.
Yeah.
Die Hard is one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. I think it's the greatest action movie of all time.
Yeah.
It has such a tight script. Every time I watch it, you pick up all these little details that are inside of it, and you're like, everything connects throughout this movie. Again, John McClane is not your typical Schwarzenegger, Stallone action hero. He's just a regular schmuck, like you said.
Yeah.
He's just a cop, and he's just caught in this situation, and it's incredible. This movie is one of the great movies of all time. Yeah, Alan Rickman's one of the greatest villains, if not the greatest movie villain of all time. He's so damn good in this. And in my opinion, Christmas isn't Christmas until Hans Gruber falls from the top of Nakatomi Plaza.
in my house, it's not Christmas until Hans Gruber's fallen off of Nakatomi Plaza like 5 or 6 times. I love that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an excellent pick. At number 9, I'm with Casey on this. Is if there was a way to retroactively remove your veto so that you could veto this one. And
I still made the right decision.
Yeah.
Elf does not need to be on this.
but yeah, this is one of my all-time favorites. Die Hard is fantastic, and it has to be on this list. Number 9 is an excellent place for it. So, but Die Hard going down at number 9. Number 8 is Casey Kelderman with his next pick. Eventually.
I don't know what to play
Gotta-
here.
I know,
I'm
it's
so
tough.
worried right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I have like 2 picks left and like
Yeah.
more than 2 cards.
It's
and
thinking about what could possibly not make this list.
I have
you know,
Here's the
It's where it
thing.
gets
All
really
of us have been playing like everyone else is going to play the classics.
yeah.
And none of only a handful of classics have been played, and that's starting to worry me.
I've learned to know
Now-
Casey's a real good poker player. Like he has his cards like cupped and like right next to his chest. I don't like it.
I only have
Um,
6 cards left.
Lou
and there's
probably
8 spots
knows.
Left. I don't know what's going to be played on this, so
I
I
don't
have to play
either.
this
Let's
year.
see.
I
Let's
wasn't
see
even
what
planning
we're
on playing this
starting with
movie at
here. This is not one I would have gone. Okay. No, I understand why this is here, so I will not offer any criticism right now. Number 8. This is the Henry Selick directed animated film, The Nightmare
Oh.
Before Christmas.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah.
I would be kicked out of my house if I didn't play this movie on this list. This is my wife's favorite movie of all time. I wasn't planning to play it, but with what we have already played and what we have coming up yet, like this seems like the perfect spot to have, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's a fantastic movie. People can argue, oh, it's a Halloween movie, it's a Christmas movie. It's both. It's fine. You can watch it on Halloween and Christmas, or if you're us, you watch it once a month. And
I was about to say it's like a year-round movie, right?
I think this is a better version of what Elf is trying to do, of harkening back to those, Rankin and Bass, the stop motion style, because this takes that, but then adds the Tim Burton twist to it. Of this is kind of a dark, depressing story, also very whimsical as well, because it's one of the best Christmas musicals of all time. It's one of the best, if not the best, Halloween musical of all time. I think this movie pretty much works in almost every aspect to it. I don't totally buy the love story, but I just don't think it's given enough time between Jack Skellington and Sally. I just don't think it's given enough time. But I think it's a ton of fun. It has great Christmas songs through it. You know, Kidnap the Sandy Claus is a great Christmas song.
It's so dark.
It is
too.
so dark. Yeah, and then before that you have What's This? You know, where he 1st discovers Christmas. I'm like, this is one of the best interpretations of like the Christmas cheer and charm of discovering Christmas for the first time.
Yeah,
it's such a great representation of that. And again, not directed by Tim Burton, but obviously his fingerprints are all over this movie. But yeah, Henry Selick is one of the great stop motion and animation directors, so it's no surprise that this movie's incredible.
Yeah.
Anyone vetoing Nightmare Before Christmas?
No.
I mean, I kind of want to, but I'm not going to.
I kind of
Why?
want to.
To play it higher, right?
She's
Oh.
afraid.
Yeah.
I'm
Just get
like-
revenge for me then. But I can't take this up because I like it. Just get revenge for me.
No, I feel like I really should have paid attention more instead of drinking the last time we're at Full Circle Book Co-op, because I feel like you brought this up and said things about it, but I wasn't like half listening. Like, I remember you saying it's a Christmas movie, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, is it? I don't know. I thought about it later, and it's just like, oh boy, I shouldn't just like smile and nod all the time. Like, I really should have like listened to that longer. Is it a Christmas movie? I agree that it's very Christmassy and it does have Christmas aspects, but I definitely feel like it's a Halloween movie. I feel like it's a movie, like, I don't watch it around Christmas time. I think I watch it like earlier in the year. But I understand what you're saying. So I'm not going to veto it. I'm just saying that I was just like, oh.
Any other thoughts on Nightmare Before Christmas?
Like I said earlier in the night, I was an emo kid in high school, so this movie was pretty much my bread and butter. Still is. I own more copies of this movie than I think any other movie in my collection. Yeah, this movie is incredible. I get what you're saying, where it's kind of more Halloween time that I watch this, but I also do tend to slip in a watch in the month of December too, just because, well, and just about every other month too. I'm kind of like Casey's wife. I watch this movie a lot still. So, you know, and it kept Hot Topic open for the last decade. So, I mean, there's always that to thank for it, you know.
Jesse,
For me, it checks all those boxes. You can watch it regularly.
Yeah.
It's aesthetically beautiful, and I feel moved the, you know, like you said, with Aston Rankin moving that forward, but then also frightens children.
Yeah.
It checks all your boxes.
All right. Well, then it stands at number 8, a movie that I think is fine. Nightmare Before Christmas, number 8. If you pay attention to me, you know what that means.
Do you mean fine as in out in the nightclub kind of sense of fine? Like, oh, that's fine.
No, I don't.
No? Okay.
I don't mean
it's
that.
more of a hocus
I mean-
pocus.
Oh, okay.
No, listen. Look,
It's delightful.
Nightmare Before.
A delight.
Hold on.
Andy,
Here's
hosts
my
have to
layaway.
stay
I'm
neutral.
gonna take it out. Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas is delightful. Yeah, no, this is Nightmare Before Christmas is 2 steps above Hocus Pocus for me. Yeah, it's fine. Moving on. I don't want to turn everybody against me. Number 7, C, which is Lou.
Bring us back to Christmas Town. It's a Christmas movie. It's a real Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
I love this movie. Okay.
Yay.
All right. So this is I love the versions of this movie. So whichever one is played, I'm good with. This is the remake version starring the guy from Jurassic Park, Richard Attenborough. Miracle on 34th Street. I was trying to think of his Jurassic Park character. Miracle on 34th Street. Lou, Miracle on 34th Street at number 7. Tell me about it.
Well, I was getting real scared, guys. I love Miracle on 34th Street, and of course, the Natalie Wood one always is going to have our little hearts. But I recently rewatched both. This is kind of the movie that I start with for the Christmas season because it's a Thanksgiving movie. It is about Thanksgiving. And so it starts with the Thanksgiving parade, and then it goes to Christmas. And so I feel like it's a great way to start Christmas movie watching, and so I watched both of them in rapid succession, and I felt like I liked the remake more. They fleshed out a little bit of the storyline a little bit better in the remake. They kind of go into why Mrs. Walker would let some rando dude down the hallway hang out with her kid all the time. And they don't make it like she's never met him before, because in the original version with Maureen O'Hara, which love her. And also, can we for a second just think of the fact that Maureen O'Hara is in Parent Trap and the kid's name is Susan. One of the kids is Susan. And in Miracle on 34th Street, her kid's name is Susan. It's a lot for me. And so I just love that. And her her Irish accent that she's trying to have an American accent, but they have her say thank you so many times in that movie. It's like, could you guys not think of a different word for her to say? Because it just takes you out of it for a hot second. But Maureen O'Hara is amazing in it. This movie, the original Miracle on 34th Street, wasn't marketed as a Christmas movie. They had it come out in July or June, something like that. And the poster was like all yellow, and it had Maureen O'Hara and whoever the dude is, insert dude here. So Maureen O'Hara and hot dude, like looking at each other like, hey, we're gonna fall in love. And then the kid's on Santa's lap in the background, but Santa has a regular like adult man suit on, like not Santa's suit. And so they definitely didn't tell you it was Christmas. And so these people went into a movie theater in the middle of summer, sit down, they start watching this movie, and it was a Christmas movie, and people went ape for it. They absolutely loved it, and it became this huge success. And I don't know, I love the remake. I think it's really great. Who's it? Elizabeth Perkins. She's fabulous in it. I don't know, it's kind of a great story, and I thought that the remake did it justice in keeping the correct items, but then like elevating the storyline a little bit.
Yeah. And Horatio Sands plays the
the janitor, the custodian.
Yeah, it's just great.
Or was he an orderly? It doesn't
I think it's
matter.
an orderly.
He's an
Mara
orderly.
Wilson is the little girl, right? Mara Wilson, is that her name? Yeah. This movie is just so delightful. Truly delightful.
Yay.
Anyone, any veto thoughts on Miracle on 34th Street, the remake?
I'm not going to veto this. This isn't my personal favorites.
Okay.
I'm kind of on the it's okay camp.
Okay.
I haven't watched it in quite a while though. I don't know. I remember seeing it as a kid and it just made me very sad. You know? And so I guess I don't know. I never really latched onto this one the same way, but hearing you speak so impassionedly about it, I was like, maybe I should give this another go. But yeah, I'm not gonna veto this because I know this is a classic that a lot of people really love. So
Now I feel bad. Sam's gonna like go home this weekend and rewatch all these movies, and then he's gonna be like, they're not great, Lou.
I just have a watch list now of all the movies that Lou's played. So
Yeah, make sure you check out Backlot 605 for Sam's thoughts on Lou's picks. Any other thoughts on Miracle on 34th Street, you guys?
I haven't watched this one since I was a kid, so I remember nothing about it. But yeah, it's one I want to revisit soon because I haven't watched it. I remember liking it, but it could have just been because Mara Wilson was in everything as a kid, so I was like, yeah, I like this.
Right.
So
I mean, she was incredible. Like she doesn't act anymore, but she was
great in all the stuff I watched as a kid. So.
Yeah.
I think for me, it just, I think the reason why I haven't also seen it very much lately is it just kind of fell off my cycle of holiday or of Christmas films.
Yeah.
If I'm going to watch, I mean, not necessarily, comparing that to the remake, but I think of it as like the original. And, it was kind of like, It's a Wonderful Life. It's, you've got, your cycle of classics and just kind of fell off for me. So I'm not going to veto it because I think it belongs on the list. But.
Yeah. I think it too. I don't remember if I don't even think I was super little when it first came out. I was a kid, of course, when it first came out. But I think for kids, it's a little bit tougher because it is dealing with, while it's about the idea of Santa Claus, there's a lot of adult themes that it's kind of tackling. And I think maybe that's why younger audiences don't necessarily gravitate towards it. But as an adult who really just remembers how the spirit of Christmas feels, This is just no movie fills me with as much warmth as this one does. So I am very excited that the remake of Miracle on 34th Street is going in at number 7. Number 6, back to Sam Lenz.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, this needs to be higher, but this
Terrified.
really needs to be higher.
Oh, man. All right. So at number 6, this is widely beloved by many people. This is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, when Lou played, I'm really glad that we didn't have one version of each story because I would have vetoed yours so hard. A Muppet Christmas Carol to me is like the quintessential Christmas movie. I know I have the number 1 spot. I very much toyed around with putting this at the number 1 spot because to me, when I think Christmas movies, this is the first one that comes to mind. I know a lot of that is nostalgia. I grew up on this. This came out in the 90s when I was a kid. And I wore my VHS tape out of this. And it wasn't just like December that I watched this movie. It was year round. And there are people in this room that can attest to that. Everything about this movie is incredible. I think Michael Caine is the best on-screen Scrooge. All the Muppets are just impeccably cast. Like you have Gonzo as Charles Dickens narrating the story, and it's so goofy and it still works. Rizzo being the like color commentator. Piggy and Kermit as the Cratchit family is just so adorable. And Kermit always has that like warmth about him, and just putting him in the Bob Cratchit role to me just makes so much sense. And so I would also say that Kermit is my Bob Cratchit. There's so much about this movie that I absolutely love, and I was going to play it at number 1. I was afraid that it was going to get vetoed if I played it at number 1. So it is not at number 1, but it is number 1 in my heart because this movie is incredible. Every song in this is just perfect. There's only one more sleep till Christmas, as Kermit's walking home with all the rest of the Scrooge's workers, is just, it's such a beautiful song that to me captures very much like the quiet, the melancholy before Christmas Day actually happens. And you know what? For my money, this is the scariest version of A Christmas Carol, because when you've got Gonzo and Rizzo being like, yeah, we're ducking out, we'll see you at the finale, and then you show up with the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and the score and just the way it's shot, this movie terrified me as a kid, but it also made me just cry tears of just joy. And I don't know. This is one of those movies that, like, I know I've said this a lot because I do have a lot of comfort movies. Movies are my comfort. But like if I had to pick like one big comfort movie for the rest of my life, 100% would be A Muppet Christmas Carol. I love this movie. I love this movie more than I love myself.
That's a lot of love.
Yeah. And I love myself.
Clearly. Look at the big jumper.
I know. I'm a sucker for attention.
You look like
So at number 6, Sam has selected Muppet Christmas Carol. Any vetoes for A Muppet Christmas
If you all
Carol?
veto it, it's going to go at number 1. I'm just going to tell you right now.
No vetoes for Muppet Christmas Carol. Anyone else have any thoughts on this version of A Christmas Carol?
Well, I would have vetoed it just so it could go to number 1. But
Really?
if you're that enthusiastic, there it is.
Oh my God.
Oh man, are we doing that? All right.
oh,
That was unexpected. We should, Jesse, you're invited to every live panel we do from here on out.
I will have you hand that back to him. Do I even need it back? Should I just hold on to it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can just hold on to it. It'll be my number 1 pick. Sorry to spoil it, everybody. Oh gosh, what do I put now?
What are you gonna do?
I know,
Oh
didn't
my
panic.
gosh, the suspense! I love that.
While
you said
Sam decides on something else,
Yeah.
This made the game very
Muppet
interesting.
Christmas Carol.
This did make the game very interesting. Wait, what?
What?
Did I miss
Nothing. We're just
something?
moving on.
Okay.
You're up.
I like seeing other people scramble
Okay.
too. Like, oh,
Okay. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this one either. Whew, this is low.
This is low.
This is low.
This is low.
But I only have two
But
cards left besides that one.
That's
So
fair. That's fair. That's how the game plays. If Muppet Christmas Carol is going to be number one.
yeah.
At number 6, the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Jimmy Stewart's or Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously this one needs to be higher, but like I said, I don't have very many picks left, and I needed to make sure it was on the list. With everybody picking random stuff, I had no idea if it was going to make it, so I wanted to make sure that it made it. Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. This is like, yeah, it's the quintessential Christmas movie. It's on TV all the time, you know, like the weird thing is I have so many memories growing up, like having this movie on TV in the background and things like that. I never sat down and watched it front to back until last year, once again, State Theater. And it moved me to tears. And like I'd watched parts that moved me at other times in my life, but this, like just sitting and watching it front to back was just, I don't know. It was an experience, and it was like, how has this not happened before? Like I've seen all of this at certain times. I've just never seen it all come together as a cohesive piece, and watching it as it was intended and not, you know, while I was like decorating a tree or something. It was incredible. It's a cinematic masterpiece. It is one of the greatest movies ever made. And I truly love It's a Wonderful Life. I wish it was higher, but like you said, this is how the game goes.
Well, it can't be now.
Oh, can we not double veto?
Yeah, of course. You sure
Oh, we
can.
can. That's so
Yeah.
exciting. I would
Okay.
love to veto.
All
this
right.
movie.
All right, but you guys aren't going to be happy about this one either.
All right. Do you want It's a Wonderful Life back?
There's only one
No,
screen
because
of
someone-
your
Just in
so-
case.
Just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
What do we got here?
Does that mean you're the only one who can play that? Or is it anyone?
Anyone did that? Got it.
Oh, these countdowns.
I know. Everybody's going to be mad at me again,
How
but I'm the only one with a veto left,
And
so
the number one pick.
I'm going to have to deal with it.
how fun and frustrating they are. At number 6,
I told you guys I was going to be an agent of chaos
the
before I showed
second
up.
greatest Christmas movie of all time. One that I've come to find that more people are sick of than I would ever have thought. Bob Clark's A Christmas Story.
Once again, I'm aware this should be higher. I'm running out of options, though. I mean, I'm wearing the onesie. What more do you guys need? Like, I've been sweating my butt off for this movie for the last hour and 50 minutes. So yeah, like A Christmas Story is great. It's a even though it's set in a different time period than what a lot of us grew up in, it's relatable. It's one of those stories that's just universal. I mean, they basically remade it for what, HBO Max, the 8-bit Christmas or whatever with the Nintendo. Jingle All the Way is sort of a twist on A Christmas Story. It's a very classic movie that like it's incredible. All the characters are awesome. I mean, electric sex in the window, the leg lamp. I mean, it's incredible. Like, I don't know. I'm saying incredible over and over again. And I mean, you guys get the point. Like, this is a great movie. I wish it was higher. This is how the game is played.
It's true. Sam, you're the only one who has a veto left. So, any other thoughts from anyone else on A Christmas Story?
It's the best Christmas movie of all time. Like, this is my number one.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Oh dear God! Let me look through my cards.
You veto yourself?
You can't, are you?
He can.
I have vetoed myself before. I don't
Jesse,
think I
while he decides,
he wants
what
the
are
Muppets
your
back.
thoughts?
No, I don't want the Muppets back.
I would be afraid what he's going to put in.
I would
instead
be
of this.
afraid too.
I know. Here's the thing: if I the cards that I have, if I
Right.
play them, you will all be even more mad at me than if I played A Christmas Story at number 6, because the rest of them are going to be ones that you're like, oh, that should be 12 or whatever.
I will say, sitting next to Sam while he decides and looks through things, sitting next to Sam this entire time has been great. Like before we even started, he rolled up the pants to this thing. This thing's like made out of terry cloth, and
Oh my God, it's
like
so hot.
so hot.
Ugh.
And so it made me definitely like harken back to like the SNL. Like I feel like we should have like a delicious dish, like, and talk about Sam's sweaty balls because it's definitely a thing that's happening right now.
They're definitely sweaty.
They're very sweaty.
Oh, that's
I'm not
nice.
gonna veto myself. I've decided. I'm not doing it.
Nope, that's good.
I
That's good.
can't.
That's good.
I just can't in good conscience.
I think that's the best case scenario right
Yeah, it is, because Casey saw the Fred Claus card I was toying
I
with.
didn't need to see the Fred Claus card. I knew you wrote that one down.
Gosh, we live in such a dangerous time.
Yeah.
And the Illumination Grinch, which I know would probably get bottles tossed in my head. It's a great movie, everybody.
Jesse Jensen, before this goes any further off the rails with Sam's other choices, what else do you have? What were your thoughts on A Christmas?
I mean, A Christmas Carol, A Christmas Story is one of my all-time favorites as well. I don't know. Part of me kind of thinks it's okay in that spot. I might get that might split the room a little bit, but but it's I kind of look at it being like I said, resident dad. I find my kids don't ever want to sit and watch it with me. My wife doesn't really like it. my mom loves it, and I love it. You know, but you already hit on all the points that are great about that. I mean, the iconic tongue on the pole.
Yeah.
I mean, the lamp is cultural.
I have
It's
the
not even,
ornament.
It's not even kitsch. You know, it's
He also
it's
has
cool.
a great commentary about commercialism where he commentates on his little orphan Annie
That's
Oh,
code
right.
that he's supposed to decipher. Drink more Ovaltine.
Also,
Commercial.
it
Son
has
of a bitch.
Yeah.
also it has the worst mall Santa in the history of mall Santas, and we just don't talk about that enough.
What's a football? I love that. I can relate to that. Have you ever talked to somebody and all of a sudden they're talking to you? It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yes.
I have anxiety. I would like you to stop now. Like, so I feel that kid.
I have no idea what you're saying. I'm smiling and nodding because I want to get this over with right now. This is a wonderful pick. Sam, it's funny because I feel like of all the contestants, any drawing or any countdown, I give you the most crap. I adore you. Like I flat out just love you, man.
I know.
But
It's mutual, buddy.
I'm always going to give you a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
don't
only expected
understand
at this point.
where your brain goes for these countdowns, but that's okay. That's okay.
I don't either. Yeah, like
All right. Well, this is a wonderful movie, and I will be okay with 6. That's fine. So we'll move on to number 5, the top 5. I'm going to do a recap real quick of the last 5. So number 10, Black Christmas. Number 9, Die Hard. Number 8, The Nightmare Before Christmas. 7, the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. 6, A Christmas Story. And number 5, Jesse Jensen. Nope, Lou, Jesse Jensen.
No, it's me.
It's Jesse. We
I
got
got-
double Jesse coming up here.
I got 2 in a row here, right?
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how this play works, right? And so I might play it this way.
All right,
All right.
here we go. At number 5, this is Jimmy Stewart's Frank Capra's. I did it twice.
Yay!
It's a Wonderful Life.
I wanted to make it possible so the Muppet Christmas Carol could go number 1.
Sure.
Nice.
But this should go higher because it would have been my 1 or 2. I would say it's my number 1. But I had another spot, so I just didn't know where strategically
Right.
here, thinking the game, what I should do. But it, like I said, probably deserves to be higher. It's watch it every year. We just did it last year at the Premier Playhouse as our Christmas show last year.
Yeah.
And the stage version is like a radio play, and it just works. I think the reason why it converts so well to a radio play is because there's something about Bedford Falls and how you get the sounds, and I love how you see the World War II influence and the Great Depression influence.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's maybe it may be one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about a guy looking to take his life,
Right.
and I mean, that is, I can't believe even then that those discussions could even be happening. Like,
Yeah.
it feels so taboo still today to discuss mental health and that kind of thing. So I think that's why it really is something that has a place in my heart.
And it gives that feeling of, or the story about how everyone matters. Everyone matters. They just need to be able to see that. And in those moments, not everyone can. And this movie gives that opportunity for someone to see that they matter and how much their life has impacted everyone around them.
Right.
Yeah, this is a beautiful movie. Sam, you have a veto. I'll ask you, are you keeping It's a Wonderful Life here at number 5?
Yep, I'm keeping it.
Awesome.
Yes.
I don't want someone to play something horrible in the top 5.
I get you. I get you.
I'm
Well,
worried.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on It's a Wonderful Life while I put it on the board?
Yeah, I actually have one that kind of bookends with Miracle on 34th Street. So they actually released It's a Wonderful Life in January after Christmas. It didn't do good. Yeah, because people are over Christmas. And so this movie took a while for it to get the following that it has now. And I'm so happy that it did, though. The moment in this movie, like, okay, so the moment in Die Hard that gets me is the glass. Like when he walks on the glass, and it's like you just feel for him where it's just like all is lost. Like this just isn't gonna work, guys. And for It's a Wonderful Life, the whole movie's like that. And honestly, if you don't watch the last 5 minutes, it's a really sad, dark, awful thing. But it comes around, and everything's okay. And the whole Sam Wainwright telegram at the end. Every year, Niagara Falls. It's just, I can't keep it together. It's just like, I mean, he's his friend, and that's like so sweet. So it's my movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Lou, I think you made reference to a movie that, oh God.
Will it happen? I don't know. I'm scared.
Oh God. Okay. Any other thoughts here on It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, this is a movie I was introduced to in high school. One of my teachers, he was really lazy, but I at least got to watch a bunch of movies in his history class. Don't ask me why. It's a Wonderful Life is shown in a history class.
Yeah.
It just was every single year, but that's how I was introduced to it. Immediately fell in love with it. I watched it last year or 2 years ago, maybe, with my parents, and they had never seen it before. They all fell asleep, and I was like, really? But I watched it again this year, actually decorating our Christmas tree. I will watch it again because this is just like Die Hard. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's such a perfect movie in every way, even if it's not a Christmas movie. I mean, we covered it on Backlot in, I don't know, May. Yeah, we watched it in May. Like, you can watch this movie year round, and it's still perfect. Everything about it works, and it does have those like Christmas Carol vibes to it as well, and it's one of the best versions of that, taking a spin on the classic Christmas Carol like narrative.
I never thought about that, but totally, it shows like what could have been, what was, and then I guess we get to fill in the blank on what's to come, which we do in A Christmas Carol anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
layers.
it's the American. I mean, not that Christmas Carol isn't dealing with that same of elements of consumerism and things like that, and how our work life should be. The Cratchits and bah humbug.
Right.
That, make money.
Yeah.
Don't be home for the holidays with your family.
Yeah.
So, very much so a contemporary retelling.
Yeah. I've made no secret. I love this movie. So I am very happy to see it on the list, especially in the top 5. Jesse, it goes back to you here with number 4.
Well,
No pressure.
It all built up to this.
It all builds up to this.
Oh my God, what's happening? Oh my God.
What is it?
The hocus pocus of Christmas. Elf. At number 4.
I know.
I should ask right away.
I've only got a couple cards left in it.
I know. I can't be mean to him.
Yes, you can.
You're such a nice person.
I don't know that it's gonna
Sam.
get
You're
any better.
right. I am. I'm too nice.
Are you
I'm
vetoing?
sorry. I'm vetoing Elf. I'm sorry. Like if it was lower, I wouldn't. But I can't. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it in the top 4.
It was a revenge pick anyway. I just figured if you're gonna veto me right away, let's play it all the way later.
Yeah, no, I think like, yeah, there are better classics than Elf that need to be up here.
Is that all the vetoes, or all the vetoes off the
Yeah,
table?
That's
go to
it.
the top
All
10.
right, so that means the next 4 picks stand.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I gotta tell you, then I have to stick with my brand, and I only got a few cards left.
All right,
Oh, this might be.
number 4. I'm thrilled that this is this. At number 4, the 1984 Joe Dante classic, Gremlins.
Go Jesse.
I knew Elf was gonna get vetoed. So. But like I said, this is where I love to live. I started this show by saying I like stuff that scares children. Even the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that the reindeer frightens me to this day. That's why you see almost all my picks. I don't have a lot of cinephile knowledge about that movie. It just is one of my all-time favorite. It's one of the first horror-ish movies that I showed my kids, and it sort of built its way naturally as that Christmas tradition. And then I wish I could speak more to what if it was important with what they did with the puppetry or anything like that, but I didn't expect to get to Gremlins here, so
Right. Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Gremlins? I love this movie. I have a stuffed Mogwai on my desk at work.
And one right in front of you.
Yeah, and one right here. But this
I didn't even notice.
beautiful Funko Pop.
It's so little, Jesse. I'm glad you picked up on it.
Yeah, I love this movie.
Thought it was
This
E.T.
is Just awesome pick. Any other thoughts? Anyone else? Gremlins.
I was not expecting it this high. I'm glad it's on the list.
Yeah.
I didn't care where it landed. This is one I love.
Yeah.
But if it didn't make the list, I would have been fine. And if it did, I don't care where it was.
Sure.
But I love this movie. It's a fantastic movie. It's some of the best puppet work of any of the classic 80s horror. And rewatching it a few days ago, I was like, Joe Dante was way ahead of his time in terms of what every modern movie does now, where we get Baby Groot, Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
We had Gizmo before that, and he's cuter than all of them, and is is like a better rounded character than most of these modern movies try to do with their little cute characters that they used to sell toys. Because Gizmo, it's a story about bullying, and that's what Gremlins is about. It's a movie about a character getting bullied, and his owner as well, kind of dealing with this weird I always get Wizard of Oz vibes watching this movie because of the lady that kind of lives near him that wants to kill his dog and basically says it outright.
Yeah.
And the water splashing on you element.
Oh, that's right. I'm melting.
Kind of reversed, right?
Yeah.
There are more of me. More of me.
Gosh, that would really spice things up in Wizard of Oz land. Wow. There's just 1,000 witches.
I'm glad you were able to fill in that puppetry stuff because I should have researched it because I knew it was important.
Yeah,
You filled it in.
Any other thoughts on Gremlins?
No.
I love Gremlins.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
So good.
it's
So
so good. My mom loves the part where the mom puts them in the blender in the kitchen and does all of her kitchen wizardry to try to kill some of them. And I think that's cool to see the mom step up. And I like that the dad shows up later.
Yeah.
That's kind of how life was in my house.
Also
Dad
had-
was always gone on business and all this stuff would happen. Then he just comes home and he's like, yeah, here's some toys.
Got your present.
It has one of the weirdest scenes in any movie ever, too, where Phoebe Cates tells the story about
right.
her dad dying and being stuck in the chimney. It's why is this in this movie?
Yeah.
Because it's a Christmas movie, Casey.
I
That's
guess
all.
that was our Santa
Yeah.
Claus for this movie.
Death by Chimney is the Christmas staple.
One of my favorite genres, like subgenres of movies, are the A Boy and His Dog movies, where it's a story about a kid who finds his companion and they form a bond. That's here in Gizmo. But like Iron Giant is one of those for me. A Boy and His Dog. I just love those kind of movies, and this one is no exception. Gremlins was one of the first movies to terrify me, and it'll always have a special place in my heart for that. So Gremlins at number 4. Moving on to number 3, we've got some big ones still at play here. Let's see what happens. At number 3, oh, thank you for not letting me down. A Bill Murray movie that makes the countdown, Scrooge. Tell me about it.
I looked like you were going to go into a soliloquy.
About Scrooge.
I put the microphone down and turned to the audience.
The lights turned down real
In
low.
the late 80s, he told me about television. No, Lou, tell us about Scrooge.
Well, I will say one thing, and it's just because I forgot up until this point, but we're only allowed to do feature-length films, which is why Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is not on this list. I would have rallied for that. I would have like let that get vetoed like 1, 2, 3 times and continue to play it. I think it's an amazing, cute, sweet story talking about puppets. Like the puppets are amazing. The voices are great. When Sam was talking about A Muppet Christmas Carol and how perfectly cast the Muppets were, I'm like, it's true. Because the Muppets were cast perfectly in Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas as well. But Scrooge is a fabulous movie. Again, it's just another take on A Christmas Carol. I love how they updated it. I love Bill Murray in it. I've been told, and I've read things about there being like some sort of like negativity connected to this movie with Bill Murray, but I don't feel it. I think it's a great performance. He's not a nice guy in the movie, so I'm not getting any other vibes than that. Yeah. The only thing I maybe don't buy is the redemption at the end. I'm not sure he's going to be a good guy. I think he's going to get the girl. Yeah. Whether he's a good guy and whether he keeps the girl, who knows? Right. I don't know if that matters, but this is such a quotable movie for my family. We go into quotes on this all the time. All the time. Love this movie.
Yeah. You mentioned Niagara Falls. That's something all the time. Doesn't matter when. If we talk about crying, I'm like, Niagara Falls. Just it's a go-to. Yeah, I love this movie so much. Scrooge. Anyone else? Any thoughts on this movie?
I'm glad you played it because that makes my job easier at number 2. I didn't write this movie down. I don't love Scrooge. I really like it. But for me, like if I was going to put a Christmas Carol movie on, it's one we're going to get at number 1 because I think it's the best version of that. But having in the 80s, when this movie takes place, who we had around at the time, it's like, yeah, Bill Murray's that Scrooge of the 80s. So I'm glad it's here. Yeah. I don't love it. I didn't put it on my cards, but makes my job easier at number 2. So
anything?
No.
All right.
I love it. Was my next card.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I love this movie. I'm glad it's in the top 3. So Scrooge at number 3, which means Jesse cheated and looked at the card.
I saw the first letter and that's it.
Oh boy.
Number 2 from Casey Kelderman is Christmas Vacation.
Oh my God, I'd forgotten that.
I wasn't expecting that to be
That's a good pick.
yeah,
I really wasn't.
I wouldn't play this one this high. I love this movie though, but it's not in my top 5.
No.
But at this point, with what we have left, I only have one other card besides this, and it's hopefully going to be our number 1. But Christmas Vacation is.
You wrote Fred Claus too?
I did.
This is all an elaborate ploy to get Vince Vaughn in the
I was
number 1
hoping
spot.
Vince Vaughn was going to make it one way or the other. 4 Christmases is still sitting in my top 3 too. No, Christmas Vacation is a ton of fun. It's the best of the vacation movies. I think it uses Chevy the best in this. Cousin Eddie, who I think gets really annoying, and some of the other ones is kind of used great because at Christmas we all have this weird cousin or uncle who shows up and brings his family and his RV and all the shit that's inside of it. Literally, we all have that person in our family, and I think that's why he works so well within this movie. Yeah, this movie's fantastic, endlessly quotable. I mean, everybody knows all the lines from this movie. There's one quote though that always sticks out, and it's from a Cousin Eddie, and I'm like, I don't understand that joke in this movie.
Ooh, what is that?
And it's when he
It
Chevy
means
Chase
that they
going
use
down
the
the
toilet too much and it's full now. The septic.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's when after he goes down the hill on the sled. There's just Cousin Eddie looking at the camera and just says bingo. I'm like, what? What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything that happened in that scene? I don't understand it, but I think there's so many other quotes that work for this movie. Chevy's rant at the end is just iconic, and to find out that it was scripted by John Hughes that way, verbatim, is kind of incredible that Chevy just rattles it off perfectly. I should have brought the Tylenol today.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, this movie's great. I wouldn't have played it this high, but I'm glad it is here because it needs to be on the list.
Yeah. It's a really funny movie. It's definitely the best of the Vacation series, I think. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the Vacation movies, but Christmas Vacation is a riot. Like, I really dig this movie. Yeah, number 2 might be high, but it's where we're at. Yeah, it's how the game plays. I love this chaotic list.
Also, the interplay with the neighbors is my favorite part.
It's so weird. I love it. Because who hasn't had neighbors where it's just like, you know what, I don't like you for no reason. At where I live, there are a yuppie couple, and I've always referred to them as Margot and Todd. In my head, not to their face. So it's fine.
I was about to say, could it be that they don't like you because you call them yuppie Margot and Todd?
And to tell you the truth, I almost forget every time that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in the movie.
Right? She's so good. Yeah, right. David Duchovny and her. There's so many good people in this movie. I don't think anybody's not good in this. That sentence makes sense somehow. And if you're going to play a Christmas movie with Chevy Chase that's not Funny Farm, I think this is a good one to play.
I would say it's got to be like the most rewatchable Christmas movie. I mean, if you were to give like subtitles out, like belts, Intercontinental Champions.
I think if you have a weird group of people at your house, like everyone's going to be okay with this movie being on.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? It stands at number 2, which means the number 1 movie of our countdown. Sam, is it the one I already have?
Yeah, it's the one you already have. It's a Muppet Christmas Carol.
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I mean, do I give my whole spiel again? I mean, it's incredible, guys.
Yeah,
I love this movie.
I think you already spieled.
Yeah.
So does anyone else have any thoughts on the totally fine Muppet Christmas Carol?
Whatever, Casey. I saw it was in your cards.
Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol. I think it's incredible. I didn't grow up with this movie. I didn't grow up with the Muppets, period. Oh, and so I just watched it last year, and I was just I was blown away by this movie.
Can I say one thing too quick?
No.
Fair. I'm gonna speak anyways.
Brand new format on a talk show.
If you're gonna watch this and you have the means, I'm not kidding. Watch it on VHS because the streaming takes a very crucial song out of the movie, and the DVD and the Blu-ray release do the same thing. When oh my God, I'm blanking on the girlfriend's name. Belle, yes. When Belle breaks up with Scrooge, she sings this song "When Love Is Gone" that they thought was too slow for kids, And so they took it out of simultaneous releases. So I had to go hunt down the VHS in my adulthood because I bought the Blu-ray when it was re-released. Didn't have the VHS from when I was a kid because let's be honest, that was done for. And the song wasn't there. And it ruins the emotional crux of the movie. There's even a reprise at the end of it where they sing When Love Is Found. And it doesn't make sense in the context of the movie on streaming or on Blu-ray. So find a VHS, find a VCR player, if only for that and the original Star Wars cuts. But that's the way to watch A Muppet Christmas Carol is on VHS because it's the full, complete cinematic experience and it's incredible.
I think we've learned a lot here tonight.
Yeah.
I think we have. Yeah. We started off with Krampus and we're ending with Muppet Christmas Carol.
Which is very
Damn, what the heck?
very on brand for me.
Yeah.
What a weird list.
Yeah, it is. It is a weird list. Let's recap the list here really quickly. I just want to say really fast that the best version of A Christmas Carol is Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Oh. That is a really good one.
Scrooge.
That's a really
Is
good
that-
one.
Is it? A feature
It is
length?
not a
Okay.
feature
No,
length.
this
not.
is funny.
It could not be on this list.
I learned
but
my
it's the
lesson
best.
earlier.
But recapping the list, at number 20, Krampus. Number 19, Polar Express. 18, the 1994 version of Little Women. 17, The Christmas Chronicles. 16, Santa Claus the Movie. 15, Home Alone. 14, White Christmas. 13, the George C. Scott starring. What I do?
No.
13, the George C. Scott starring A Christmas Carol. At number 12, the Seth Rogen banger The Night Before.
Ahead of White Christmas and Home Alone.
At number 11, Jingle All the Way. At number 10, the 1974 version of Black Christmas. At number 9, Die Hard. At number 8, Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 7, the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Number 6, A Christmas Story. Number 5, It's a Wonderful Life. Number 4, Gremlins. Number 3, Scrooge. Number 2, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And the number 1 Christmas movie of all time, The Muppet Christmas Carol. This is your list, like it or not. That was a ton of fun. What I think I want to do, I want to combine two things just so we can maybe wrap things up a little bit quicker. Maybe plug where we can find you online or what you're currently doing. And while you're doing that, also if you have any discards of note, titles you weren't able to play. We'll start, of course, with Local Lou.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Local Lou Podcast. I have a podcast that's about local history here in Sioux Falls. But also, thank you so much, Average Joe's Gaming. This was so cool,
Yes.
you guys.
Yes.
I think I got to play everything I really wanted to, and I mentioned the ones that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I think that, the Home Alone 2 and Die Hard 2 may be better than the ones that are on there, and Trading Places would have been cool to see, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, all those more non-trad ones, but our list is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's straight up beautiful.
It's
Thank you
it's an
guys.
eclectic list of 4 personalities, that's for sure.
Yeah, but the right 4 personalities
Yes.
for this. Thank you, Backlot. This is great.
Yeah, it's a
Thank you.
Jackson Pollock painting of Lou, thank you so much for being on the panel. Sam, where can we find you online? And did you have any fun discards?
Yeah, so you can find me online at Slenzart on Instagram. I also do a cartoon strip called The Ghoul Fields. You can find that at The Ghoul Fields on Instagram. For some discards, and I'm a co-host on Backlot 605, so you should check us out wherever you get your internets.
Wherever you're watching this right now.
Yeah, wherever you're watching this right now, continue watching it later at later dates. One movie that I had was The Illumination Grinch. I think it is the best feature length, and I know there's only 2, but I think it's better than the Jim Carrey one. I really like the story. I think it's the most, it's the most relatable to me that the Grinch has ever been, and I love that. He emotionally eats, and it is a deep connection with me. I really like that movie. It's a must watch at our house.
I get it.
We watch it. We watch it. I mean, not even just during winter. We watch it all the time. It's phenomenal. I love it. I also love Fred Claus. Vince Vaughn hits Santa Claus in the face with a shovel. What's not to love? I mean, seriously. I had Kiss Kiss Bang Bang too. And then another Shane Black banger, Lethal Weapon, which I'm fine with that not being on. But
Sure.
yeah.
Casey, I don't know what I was going to say. Something about Backlot 605 brains of the operation. Where can we find you online? What other Backlot 605 things can people find? And then what else did you have in your stack?
Wherever people are watching. So
Yeah,
you know
just
where
keep
to
watching this.
this right now. We're doing Brian De Palma for this month here.
Oh, yeah.
In December. It's De Palma December. Get it? It's clever.
De Palma, December, the movies.
The movies. Some of the movies I had on discards. Christmas Evil, I think, would have been a low pick on here. A non-traditional movie, not a lot of people throw out into the Christmas lexicon, but it should. Rocky IV, because it ends on Christmas with a fight, and Sylvester Stallone in that movie, you know, just stops the Cold War from happening. Like, he just stops it. Another one we didn't talk about. I'm surprised Sam doesn't have this. Batman Returns.
I'm surprised I don't have that. Oh my God, I love that movie.
I was tempted to play this at number 2, but I was like, Christmas Vacation needs to be on here. Lethal Weapon was another one that if it made it, I would have been happy. Another one I love, I know a lot of people hate this movie, Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin, I think is a fun Christmas movie, and it has a very early Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler in it, and it's great. And Liev Schreiber, who is incredible in that movie.
I haven't seen it, and I already like it more than some of the movies that are on this list.
I can't wait for your review of 2 stars.
Jesse Jensen, where can we find your presence online, or even if you want to just plug Premiere Playhouse one more time? And then what did you have in your discards?
Well, what I love about live theater is that it's live and analog, so you can find me at the theater. Watch live theater, support live theater. It's a way different experience, right? It's a different medium, and everyone needs to sometimes we need a reminder of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the premierplayhouse.com. We used to be the Sioux Empire Community Theater, recently rebranded. Now that we're doing really well financially, premierplayhouse.com, and then, like I said, you can get the tickets also at the Washington Pavilion or online, where they have a presence online. Their website, I guess, was what you'd call that. Words not coming out. And then, basically what I have left in my stack here. Let's see here. I had,
I think you had Elf.
Ben Stiller, Reindeer, not Ben Stiller, Ben Affleck, Reindeer Games. Let's see here. Deck the Halls, Christmas with the Cranks.
High quality shit.
Oh, boy.
These were my get Andy to dunk on me cards, and I just never got a chance to play them.
It's been pointed out to me by
Reindeer Games specifically. Like,
Oh, man.
real quick before we go, it's been pointed out to me by an audience member that we appear to have like siblings on the panel.
Oh,
You guys look exactly alike.
the Jesse Jensen and Casey Kelderman brotherhood.
And
has
especially
been
like I don't
pointed
have my
out by
glasses
the
on right
audience.
now. I'm having a hard time telling
Like
who's
they
who.
were separated at birth.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Which-
Jesse.
Basically reiterates that scruffy white men with beards all look alike.
The moral of the story is we all look like Seth Rogen.
it's the look.
This has been an absolute joy. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Backlot 605 for letting me host this thing. This has just been a ton of fun. I've been able to sit in the hot seat a couple of times, so to kind of moderate has been a little less stressful, but also super
Can we
stressful.
give a round of applause to Andy?
Yeah.
I've worked, and another round of applause to a man behind the scenes.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
He makes us sound good on the internet.
Yes.
So that's good.
It's a
Unless
tough.
it sounds like crap, then it wasn't me.
It's a tough job because I I speak with a theater voice instead of an inside voice. So you've got to really keep me reined in. You can find Fat Dude Digs Flicks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The podcast is available on there. Just give me a follow. I team up with these guys as much as humanly possible because they are my brothers and sisters from another mother. Just very lucky. Very lucky to be in this community. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you in-house for being here. Thank you, Average Joes, again for letting us do this here tonight. This was a ton of fun. And now you know the 20 greatest Christmas movies of all time.
That will have an asterisk.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thanks, guys.